Live Network. Bowie Bulldogs football on Vype Live is brought to you by our top dog sponsors, Circle C Orthodontics and Austin Irrigation Specialists, as well as our touchdown sponsors, United Heritage Credit Union, Jersey Mike's, and Frost Bank. Our game day sponsors include Waterloo Ice House, Nance Orthodontics, Kuiper Sparks Agency, JW Flooring Solutions, McLean Family Dental, Rudy's Barbecue, Carlson Law Firm, The Salt Lick, Schlotzky's, Kruger's Diamond Jewelry, Jen Lamb Realtor, Ally Medical Emergency Room, Lee and Kate Photography, Firehouse Subs, Skin Bar Aesthetics, Chick-fil-A, and Mighty Fine Burgers. And now, along with producer J.C. De Leon and color analyst Stephen Foster, here's the voice of the Bowie Bulldogs, Dee Hanson.
Good evening, everybody. Thanks for joining us here tonight from AC Bible Junior Memorial Stadium in Leander, where the Bowie Bulldogs find themselves on the road for the first time this season against the Glen Grizzlies out of 5A. You've joined us here along the Vype Live Network. Brought to you by Circle C Orthodontics and Austin Irrigation Specialists. My name is Dee Hanson. Filling in for Steve Foster, we're lucky enough to have TJ Vela alongside as well. The Bulldogs enter tonight's matchup eager to find some continuity on offense. Last week, Bowie battled back and forth with the Vista Ridge Rangers before ultimately falling 28-21 to see their record even up at 1-1. Through two contests, one glaring issue has been the passing game. Neither of the Bulldogs' two quarterbacks have thrown for a touchdown through two contests thus far. This team is playing at or ahead of expectations, I think, in nearly every other facet of the game. So with two more non-district games ahead, i.e. starting tonight, Bowie is on the clock to try to figure out a way to get a more reliable passing game going before district play kicks off against Lake Travis. One thing we do know that will help that cause, it should, is having Rowan Wells back in the lineup, which he is tonight.
Yeah, Dee, when it comes to Rowan Wells, it always helps to have your best playmakers out on the field. And in the case of Rowan Wells, he's one of the most dynamic playmakers here in the Austin area. Last year in his junior year, had more than 700 yards receiving, 9 touchdowns, looking to build on that here in his senior year in his first game back. Expect Coach Abels to get the ball in his hands and also get him an opportunities to open up things across the field for all the other playmakers for the Bulldogs.
The Glen Grizzlies coming off a disappointing 2024 where they went 3-7, missing the playoffs for the third consecutive season. They have started 0-2 so far here in 2025. And again, this team has been in a lot of games during this tough stretch of seasons that have seen them have some hard times really just finishing games. I mean, you just look at last year between these two, playing at Berger, where the Grizzlies actually had a 21-20 lead at half, but ended up giving up 22 unanswered to Bowie. We'll see plenty of what you would think would be the slot team, but in fact, now they have changed out both coordinators, including offensive, of course, and that means they're trying a little bit something different. Actually, the exact opposite of the slot team, the spread offense, and boy, it's actually worked out pretty well for this team thus far.
Yeah, for the Grizzlies, who have this new look offense here, D, just in their first game against Medina Valley, quarterback Luke Carter had over 300 yards passing. Look for him to connect with DeMarcus Davis, his favorite receiver, had 200 yards receiving in that game alone. And so right now, as it stands, it hasn't shown in the win column quite yet, but the spread offense working for the Grizzlies.
Coming up next, we'll bring up the starting lineups. Countdown to kickoff continues as the Bowie Bulldogs try to claw their way back into the win column with the game here against an always tough Glen Grizzlies squad standing in their way. All that coming up next here under the Friday Night Lights of Bible. This is Bowie Bulldogs football presented to you by Circle C Orthodontics and Austin Irrigation Specialist along the Vype Live Network.
At Firehouse Subs, a portion of every purchase helps provide much-needed life-saving equipment to first responders all across the country. This year, contributions from Firehouse Subs and their suppliers will total a minimum of $1 million to support first responders via the Firehouse Subs Public Safety Foundation. Firehouse Subs Public Safety Foundation has awarded over 300 grants worth more than $4.3 million to public safety organizations all across the great state of Texas. In the greater Austin area alone, more than $343,000 has been granted to local public safety organizations, including Travis County Emergency Services, Williamson County Sheriff's Office, and ACC's Police Department. Founded by brothers and former firefighters Chris Sorensen and Robin Sorensen, Firehouse Subs is the real deal. They know firefighters crave delicious food and a lot of it, so they've made sure every sub at Firehouse Subs is piled high with freshly sliced meat and delicious cheeses. Firehouse Subs. Enjoy more subs, save more lives.
Back at Bible Stadium, D is joined by TJ Vela. The Bowie Bulldogs are out onto the field, coming from our right to our left. It's the east side of the end zone. Sun's still very much out, and boy, is it hot. This might be one of the hotter games we've been a part of in the last few seasons. And coming in, the Glen Grizzlies here at home. They are already out onto the field. They're to our right, Bowie to our left, as they went all the way down the field, the 100 yards, to kneel down and also now come back to the sideline across from us. Bowie in their away white tops, gray pants, black letters, numbers, and red trim, black helmets. The Glen Grizzlies, if you know Illinois or Syracuse, they have that bright orange helmet, the navy blue tops, and the orange pants with white letters, numbers, and they are set and ready to go in their own end zone as well. Well, look at now Glenn going into this game, and they are headed by Brandon Crosskoff in his 5th season as the head coach. 15-27 his overall mark, is his 10th season overall at the school, which means he's been at the school since its inception here in Leander ISD, and he is looking to try to jumpstart this team and try to do that by getting a new coordinator, Alshon Johnson, in his first year as the OC, employing the spread offense, and Luke Carter, who was now coming in to try to spell and fill the shoes of Dakota Dabilas, who was first-team All-District last year, has really come into his own. First game of the season against Medina Valley, he had 313 yards, 3 touchdowns, only 1 interception. So the senior, who does he throw to? Demarcus Davis, 6'1", 170-pound receiver, also All-District second team last year. He had 200 yards receiving alone against Medina Valley. It's an offense that's averaging around 26 points per game. Not bad. Well, the defense is actually not really pulling their weight. They're averaging almost 40 points per contest given up. That's worse than even last year when they are averaging 36. So they're having to shore things up defensively for this team out of 5A, just over 2,000 enrollment. And TJ, we're going to see how this offense for Bowie is able to get down the field, but we're not expecting the same type of defense we saw last week against Vista Ridge.
Yeah, last week saw a lot of good things when it comes to what we did against Vista Ridge. Really what it boils down to here today against Glenn here in this new offense with the spread, take advantage of the opportunities given to you. Make turnovers happen. They're going to air the ball out. There's really only 3 things that can happen, they say, when you air the ball out, and 2 of them are bad. And so for Bowie here today, take advantage of those opportunities, create mental mistakes from the Grizzlies side of the house, and the other day, when you have momentum, keep it and keep putting points on the board.
Glenn is projected by at least Dave Campbell's football magazine is coming in last here in District 8 5A Division 1. They are 0-2. All of those coming in home. They're starting out the season with 3 straight home games and trying to, and then they have an open date next week. So we'll see how the Grizzlies try to fare here in their last non-district game of the season before they open up district play. Meanwhile, the Bowie Bulldogs, Jeff Abels in his 24th season, still eyeing that 159th win in his career, 98 losses, Bowie 1-1 on the year. First road game of the season. They beat Manor 49-14 pretty handily. Vista Ridge, back and forth affair at halftime. It was tied at 14. Got back into it, and then all of a sudden, the Rangers scored 2 unanswered Bowie able to get one more touchdown on the board, but fell short, 28-21. Defenses look pretty good, still young going into the season. We'll get to Bowie's defense and the rest of their overview here in a moment. Here's our national anthem. National anthem there by the Glen Choir, and we will now look a little bit here again with Bowie's defense. Mentioned they are young, they're obviously talented, they've played pretty well so far through 2 contests, giving out around 21 points per game. And we talked with Coach Jeff Abels a little bit about that, and he said, yeah, we have some good players, but a lot of them haven't had a lot of varsity playing under their belt. So we're going to see some mistakes. We're trying to clean that up, and it's good that we have 4 district games to be able to do that.
Yeah, and that's the point of these non-district games. Give those young guys those reps. And honestly, D, when you look at it, sometimes having youth like that, especially on the defensive side, is really good because you don't know what you don't know. So you can go out there and do what you need to do and get that experience.
Both teams now will have their captains come out midfield for the coin toss. Meanwhile, the offense averaging 35 points per contest, bolstered by the 49 that they posted on the Mustangs in the first game of the season. Ty Brannion has Rowan Wells back in the mix, the 6'2", 185-pound wideout first-team All-District player from last year, is the only returning first-team All-District player on the roster. And again, he is in the mix along with Trevor Watts, Evan Drange, and Luke Nelson. It's Reese Moreno, though, has been the bell cow at running back. He has almost 400 yards on the season, 4 touchdowns, but last week he was not the leading rusher. He only had 52 yards on the ground. Christian Haywood, who is the starting quarterback tonight, led all rushers last week against the Rangers with 86 yards on 15 carries. So we'll see a lot of running here, I'm sure, and we'll see how the passing game tries to get a little bit more on track. And we just had the announcement here for the coin toss. And I'm waiting for the officials to try to maneuver down the players, and they do. We won the coin toss, elected to defer. They're going to be, Glenn won the coin toss, elected to defer. That was really not how you normally showcase who won the coin toss.
It's not district game.
Garrett Brown came out there. He's the lead official. Normally you pat the player on the shoulder of who won the coin toss, and you move everybody around, and then you realize, but instead he patted Glenn on the shoulder and said no, and then he did a kicking motion, which I never have seen that before. So anyway, we're off to a roaring start with our officiating crew. Nonetheless, you had Glenn win the coin toss, elected to defer. They'll be kicking from west to east with the sun to their back. That's going to monitor that a little bit, as now Bowie will have the ball to start out, but the sun will be in their face on their first offensive series of this contest. But all in all, We have a couple of things we're certainly going to be looking for here. The youth of the defense, and we'll see if they can shore up some of the mistakes we saw against the Rangers last week, and most importantly, how this quarterback situation is going to continue to grow, progress, hopefully, manifest, however you want to say it, with Christian Haywood as seemingly getting the edge as the starter so far in the season through two games. So we're set and ready to go. Glenn to kick it away. From left to right, it'll be Israel Alvarez to do the honors from his own 40-yard line. It's a short kick, fielded at the 23-yard line. Fair caught there. Getting underneath that one, Trevor Watts. It'll be 1st and 10 for Bowie at their own 25-yard line, going right to left.
And as Bowie comes out, again, expect Rowan Wells to get the ball early and often here on this first drive. First game back, and he's got to be a playmaker to ignite this Bowie offense.
This will still be a run-dominated team, but your point's super well taken. He has got to get some touches in this contest. And it will be Haywood out at quarterback out of the shotgun. He has Moreno to his left. The long side of the field is to the right-hand side. It's a keeper by Haywood, and he'll get hit pretty hard trying to find a hole on the left-hand side for about a yard gain up to the 26-yard line. It's 2nd and 9.
That was a good pull there by Haywood. You had number 87, Garrett Baker, come right into the backfield. Great read, but just nowhere to go. Great flow from the linebackers over top, and Haywood stuck at the line of scrimmage. Only 1 yard gain on that.
Two receivers out near side here for the Bulldogs. Drangy out to the left. In motion is Watts from right to left. There's trips over there. It's a quick pass and caught by Drangy. He gets upfield with some good blocking. Past the 30 to the 31-yard line. Not a lot of space on that side of the field. And that will be short of the first down, still about 4 yards. 3rd and 4 coming up.
Not a lot of space at all, D, but I like the RPO action out of the backfield. You have the Grizzlies defense here basically in a 4-4, so it's going to be man coverage on the outside. I like the RPO on the outside. Get the ball out quickly, get the yards when you can, and make this a more manageable 3rd down.
Cruz Pittman, near side. No wide receivers. Actually 3 that are bunched. It's 3rd and 4. Moreno motions out of the backfield, far out right-hand side. He's going to carry Victor Bala over there. It's going to be a pass right in the slot area, and it's going to be just enough for a 1st down. And able to catch that one is Kieran Campbell. And that will move the chains just enough. The ball just past the 35-yard line.
What a great play call there on 3rd down from the offensive coordinator, Brandon D. When you think about it, you have the bunch set, then you send the receiver out in motion, really confuses the defense, showed the man coverage, and then out there in the flats, all you have to do is a simple pitch and catch, get the 1st down.
Campbell has the only passing touchdown of the season for the Bulldogs on a wide receiver pass for 20 yards. That's his 2nd reception of the year. Handoff over to Moreno, and this one a little bit better, but not more, by more than a yard. So his first carry was for 1, this one's for 2. 2nd and 8 coming up from their own now 38-yard line here for Bowie. Ball in the middle of the field.
If the Grizzlies are going to keep stacking the box like this, it's going to be very difficult for this Bowie offense to get yards up the middle. Expect them to continue spreading it outside and getting this Grizzly defense off of their game.
Nelson, the slot to the left-hand side, far out left, is Drangy. Wells out far out right now in motion. From left to right, it's going to be a handoff that direction to Moreno. And you can see players now punching at that ball, trying to get it out. And again, Moreno with really no gain on the play. Maybe a yard to the 39. And it's now 3rd down and 7 to go here for Bowie.
There was a great push from that Glenn defensive line on that last play. Something we saw a lot last week was the Vista Ridge defensive line get great pushback on the offensive line for the Bulldogs. That created a lot of loss in yards on the plays. And right there, good job by Glenn getting that push and creating a minimal gain.
Ross Randolph out right-hand side. He's up on Wells on the far side of the field. 2 receivers left. Moreno out of the shotgun is to the right of Haywood. And It's going to be a play action. Haywood in trouble. He's going to be brought down at the 30, maybe at the 29-yard line. And forward progress gets to the 32, but still a loss on the play of almost about 7. And that's going to bring up a 4th down. Very conservative play calling out of the gate here for Bowie. Has them kicking the ball away on their first offensive series.
And right there, just a simple rush with your front 4. Very aggressive were those front 4 for the Grizzlies, and they made the play in the backfield. Didn't go with the motion, and there was nowhere for Haywood to run. He gets brought down. Huge 3rd down sack.
Rowan Wells to kick it away from around the 17-yard line. It's DeMarcus Davis to receive. It's a line driver. Hits at the 41. High snap bounce. And here's Davis who brings it up off of that bounce. Past midfield. It's at the 45-yard line. Brought down from behind. Near now the 36. There's a flag all the way back at the 26-yard line. So we'll see if that affects anything. For Bowie, it was Cooper Medeiros, who has been an special teams juggernaut for this team all season long. He makes the play on that return. But we do have officials conferring now at around the 29-yard line. We'll get the starting lineups here in a minute. But we now need to figure out what this flag's all about. From Garrett Brown, who is the referee. Block in the back against Glenn. That's a huge penalty already in this game. The first of its kind. And this one for the Grizzlies is detrimental. They'll bring it all the way back on the spot foul to the 19-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Grizzlies. They were situated around the 36 of Bowie, if that just gives you an indication about how drastically that changed the landscape on this offensive series for the Glenn Grizzlies. Luke Carter is the quarterback. He's the senior, doing quite well throwing the football. 73 yards long is one of his passes on the season with 3 touchdowns. Keaton Gordon is your returning back, first-team All-District player from a year ago. It's 5'9", 175, and he will get the carry. First play on this set, and it's a good one. Past the 25 to the 26-yard line, shy the first down by about 3. He's finally brought down by Merrill Hinton. And so the rest of that offense for you, DeMarcus Davis, we mentioned him before, 6'1", 170, great target here for Carter. Najib Luanza at tight end, we're number 35, a senior. Justin Steffens is at fullback, we're number 29, a junior, and wideout Evan Blair, along with J.J. Ortiz. Watch out for them as the game goes on. They are both also weapons for Glenn. Here's the handoff out left-hand side. Another little different running style is Jason Ortiz, listed as a running back, but he also is a good receiver. And he gets a nice gain on the play, and that'll be enough for a first down to the 30-yard line, a gain of nearly 5 on the play. And the offensive line, left tackle from left to right is Sean Godesky, we're number 70, a senior. Hassan Kadur Cazadia, we're number 72, a senior. In the middle is Maximo Baldanos, we're number 50, a senior. Caden Murphy at right guard, we're number 65, a junior. First play in passing out to the right-hand side is caught by DeMarcus Davis, wide open on the near side sideline. And with that, he gets all the way to midfield, almost 20 yards.
Just a simple breakdown in coverage there for the Bulldogs, D. You have a zone coverage on the outside. Right there, Davis finds the soft spot with the curl route and gets a great yards after catch there for a huge first down.
Right tackle, rounding out the offense here for the Grizzlies is Austin White, number 55, a senior. There is a flag, though, a little late. I didn't see that prior. That illegal substitution for Glenn. 12 men on the field out of the huddle. So that'll bring it back 5 to the 45-yard line. But aside from the penalties, the Grizzlies look really good on offense already.
Very shocking how they're coming out so far. So with the Bulldogs coming out in the 3-man front, they're essentially daring the Grizzlies to run the ball. And right now, the Grizzlies up for the task, but they're also putting the ball in the air like we just saw.
Bowie runs a 3-3 stack. They have ever since I've been around. This is a hallmark for this team. And right now, though, really laying off are the linebackers not coming up, and that is helping out a little bit here. There's another flag as soon as we say the Grizzlies look good on offense. Now they have back-to-back penalties on a illegal motion. That'll bring it back another 5 to the 40-yard line. So back-to-back penalties of 5 yards. Have it at the 40, and it's now 1st and 20. coming up here for the Grizzlies.
Right there, Joshua Stevens, number 25, was in motion, but he looked like he was in the CFL trying to go upfield before the ball was snapped. You can't do that, man.
Trips left-hand side. Ortiz stays in at running back out to the right. And it will be a pitch on an option to Ortiz, and he is swallowed up and brought down for a yard loss at the 39-yard line. Coming in and making the stop there for the Bowie Bulldogs is Nathan Perez. He is your starting linebacker. Alex Sarati not able to go. And the defense here for Bowie getting that 3-3 stack. Darren Pittman in his 9th season as a defensive coordinator. We'll slide in that 3-4 every so often. It's all dependent on that nose tackle. Kate Venables played really well already out of the gate this season. We're number 90, junior 5'11", 250. Throw out in a little bubble screen is snuffed out for maybe a yard gain up to the 40-yard line. Back they go are the Grizzlies, but that really had no chance of going anywhere. Vincent Real coming in and making the stop to Evan Blair with the reception. It's now 3rd down and back to 20 yards needed for a first for the Grizzlies. 40-yard line is where they're trying to get to of the Bulldogs. Your ends are Merrill Hinton, we're number 99, a junior, and Jackson Lang, second-team All-District player from a year ago, we're number 0, a senior. River Favor at linebacker, we're number 50, a junior. Mason East in the middle, we're number 11, a junior as well. Bandit back is Vincent Villarreal, sophomore, we're number 24. Out of the shotgun is Carter, slings it deep down the left side, and it's going to be intercepted at the 37-yard line. Bringing it back on the far sideline, then upended around the 38 across the field. Coming in, and that almost looked like it was intended for Logan Fairnbold, who came in for the INT. There's a flag on the play at the 33-yard line of the Grizzlies. I know it's against them. What did you see with the play? Okay, I didn't see the official. Really didn't make a clear indication about what the penalty was. Nonetheless, it's going to be waved off by the Bowie Bulldogs. They get their first turnover of the game. They came into the game with 2 interceptions and 5 turnovers. They've done a good job in that category. And now have the ball back in great starting field position at the 39-yard line. We'll get the defensive alignment next series for Bowie. Nonetheless, now they are in prime time real estate here as they get a sweep by Wells. He gets his first touch at that football, coming out from the slot and going from right to left. Doesn't find any room. Stopped at the 39-yard line. Player down for Glenn. And Christian Haywood staying in at quarterback. 4 minutes to go already in this first quarter. It seems to really just move here pretty quickly in an early start time. It is no score here between these two. We did not look all that great in their first offensive series. Have a great opportunity here after the defense gets that turnover.
No, most definitely. They have to take advantage now. We talked about in the pregame, taking advantage of the opportunities given to you and creating turnovers when necessary. Right now, the defense already created the turnover. They got the interception, put the offense in great field position. Now it's up to Haywood and this offense to put the ball in the end zone, put points on the board, and really put this Glenn defense and team away early.
Fairnbold with his first interception of the season. He leads the team in tackles from that free safety slot. He had 9 last week against the Rangers. Play action rollout by Haywood. Throws on the run. It is going to be caught at the 34-yard line, and a little bit more yak on top of that across the sideline to Luke Nelson, who gets right past that first down marker and adds 1 more yard to it to the 28 on the far side hash, first down.
And that's why running the ball is so effective early on. Right there, Coach Branyan, the offensive coordinator, leveraging the play action. You have the aggressiveness from the defensive line of the Grizzlies. Take it over, and right there open in the flat is the tight end. First down, Bulldogs.
2 receivers near side, 1 out, far right-hand side. 2 back set. Coming out of the backfield is not going to be, or it's complete, but then driven back as Wells. And boy, he was a sitting duck on that play, losing about 2 yards. Blocking wasn't necessarily up to par on that one, and As soon as Wells caught it, he was dropped.
And this is going to be a big thing to look at here, D. That was number 2, DeMarcus Davis, who made the tackle. He came off holding his shoulder. That he's one of the best receivers on this Grizzly offense. But now, if he gets on the defensive side of the ball, we might not see him back out.
He's also one of the best defenders. So he's a big player for Glenn. Very good point. Trips right-hand side, one out left. Play action, quick throw out right-hand side is caught. That is Watts. Nestled that ball around the 26, went upfield to the 23-yard line. So a little bit of the yards that were lost, gain, and a lot more extra makes it a much more manageable 3rd and 5 for Bowie at the 23 of Glenn.
100%. Just getting those extra yards there opens up the playbook a lot more here. And now you're in 4-down territory, really.
Quickly to the line, 2 receivers out near side. That's the long side of the field. There's motion on the line. A high pass is tipped and incomplete. Wells is the only receiver that could have gotten that. He put his right hand up around the 6-yard line on the far side sideline. Unable to haul it in. It would have been a miraculous catch had he been able to do so. Working up against Victor Bala, the left corner here for Glenn.
And right there,
4th down.
Right there, the Bulldogs trying to get the defensive line for the Grizzlies to jump off sides. Haywood thought he got him to do it. You see Coach Abels talking to the ref on the far side. They weren't able to get him to do it. And now 4th and 5 coming up.
Long look in here. Still plenty of time on the play clock. Finally, the play does get relayed in, and it's Moreno in the shotgun to the left-hand side of Haywood, and there's 4 on the play clock. Timeout taken by the Bulldogs. We'll take it with them. No score so far here from AC Bible Junior Memorial Stadium between Glenn and Bowie. 2:39 left in the first. This is Bowie Bulldog football.
McLean Family Dental is a proud supporter of Bowie football. Locally owned and operated by Dr. Deidre and Dr. James McLean. We are so excited to be celebrating over 10 years of providing compassionate, conservative, and comprehensive dental care for patients of all ages in Circle C, Shady Hollow, and Southwest Austin. From your friends and neighbors at McLean Family Dental, go Dogs!
Attention Bulldog fans! After tonight's game, grab a bite during Mighty Fine's 5th quarter at Mighty Fine Burgers, Fries, and Shakes. Mighty Fine is open late during every regular season Friday night Bowie high school game. So join us tonight as Mighty Fine celebrates another Bulldog win. And grab a bite during Mighty Fine's 5th quarter at Mighty Fine's Burgers, Fries, and Shakes.
4th and 5. Quickly, Bowie comes out off of the timeout, and just as soon as they get the play going, they get a penalty. Oh, that one hurt. It's 4th and 5. Now it's 4th and 10. A procedural call against the Bulldogs, bring them back to a 4th and 10 at the 28-yard line of the Grizzlies. No score. 2:39 left during the first quarter play. D. Hanson joined by TJ Vela. Thanks for joining us here once again for the Vype Live broadcast here of the Bulldogs. We'll have it for you all season long. First road game of the year for Bowie. Still going for it. 4th and 10 play action. Haywood lobs it to the end zone, and it's going to be caught for a score. Touchdown, Roland Wells. Welcome back. 28 yards, in for 6. And I think he might be hurt. Going over there, he caught the ball and past the end zone. Roland Wells slid and came down hard on his back and his head. That area of the football field, it looks like concrete, and boy did he take a spill.
Yeah, it's an unfortunate chain of events there for the Bulldogs. You have a great play. Wells beats his man in man coverage, goes over the top, catches it over his head, and makes a great play in the end zone. But as he's going with his momentum, he goes in that concrete area, slips on his back, and immediately his teammates who got over there were signaling to the trainers like, hey, come over here, we need some help. So it's on the far side. We don't obviously know what's going on, but hopefully he is okay.
I mean, as soon as you get back off of injury, you score a touchdown. That's his 2nd reception of the game, his 3rd touch of the game. And that was a slightly underthrown ball, but it actually helped out where Wells turned back around and was able to somehow stay in the air and get that ball. And as he continued his momentum, and they're asking for a possible maybe stretcher. Nope, Rowan Wells is up on his feet. What I would be most concerned about is concussion.
Yeah.
Because of the way he slid and just slammed his head down. It's nice to see that he's walking on his own accord, and I'm thinking now that he probably wants to get back in the football game, but because there's nobody else around him. But boy, that did not look great. Drangy now comes out for the extra point. Snap is back, and it is a line driver and good. So 28 yards through the air. Christian Haywood continues to be perfect on the season. He has not missed a pass. He's now 9 for 9, and that is the first passing score of the season for a quarterback for the Bowie Bulldogs. Rowan Wells connecting. 2:33 left here in the first quarter. We'll keep it here. It's up now, Bowie 7-0.
And we talked about it there in the pregame part of the show, D. Get the ball to your playmakers. Get the ball to people like Rowan Wells who can go up, beat their guy in coverage, and make plays for your team when you need them most. And right there, Wells did exactly that. That's why the Bulldogs now find themselves up 7-0. Now it goes back to the defense. What can we do to create another turnover? What can we do to create another fourth down, third down stop, and get the ball back to our offense to continue building on that momentum?
The Bulldogs do have receivers that you do not have to throw perfect balls to that can make plays. I think it's a pretty talented group, and that should come to an area in the minds of the quarterbacks, no matter who happens to be in there. But you don't have to throw a perfect ball to be able to get what you want in the outcome, which is either a completion for a lot of yards, little yards, first down, touchdown. Put it up, see if they can make a play, and that time it worked. It will be Alex Moore, sophomore, will kick it away from the 40-yard line for Bowie, up 7-0 again here against Glenn. The Grizzlies have looked good on offense. When they've been on offense, they've shot themselves in the foot with penalties, but when they've had just a clean play, here's the kickoff. This one way out the back end of the end zone, about 8 yards deep and out the back end for a touchback. They have been able to move the football against this Bowie defense, and we'll see. There's not a lot of film other than the last 2 games of the offenses run by the Grizzlies because they've completely changed their approach on offense. They've been, again, largely a slot T offense, and now they go on spread, and so now there's just some adjustments by defenses as well.
But luckily for the Bulldogs, the spread is obviously one of the most ran offenses here in the state of Texas nowadays, so it's something that they've seen on a day-in, day-out basis, so for a lot of them, it's just playing your own position and reading your keys.
Justin Steffens in the slot to the right, out far right-hand side is Blair. That's the short side of the field, 2 receivers out left. Carter out of the shotgun. Steffens will come in and make a key block as the handoff happens, and the ball pops loose, and I think coming back. So that is Gordon who runs the ball past the 30 to the 31-yard line. 6 yards on the carry. Seeing a lot of gaps here on the running lanes for Glenn early.
Yeah, and Glenn's really using the motion to their advantage right now, motioning the receivers in, motioning the running backs out, and leveraging the pulls from their offensive linemen, really just to confuse the defense of the Bulldogs. And right there, a 6-yard gain for Gordon does it.
We'll get to the rest of the defensive alignment, which I was not able to get out last time. In motion will be Ortiz. There's a handoff out right-hand side. Venable makes the stop, but I also think he got a lot of face mask on the carry by Gordon. Brings it back for a loss in the play of maybe a half a yard, but this penalty should be a face mask, personal foul variety, and that will bring it up 15 yards and be an automatic first down. Venable knew it immediately. He hit his helmet after he made the play, knowing that he had made a mistake, and he'll be the first one to be harder on himself than anybody else. Takes the knee and is ready to go one more time here at nose tackle for Bowie. Got to Villarreal, I believe, the bandit back, and Alex Zarate not able to go tonight Nathan Perez in his stead at linebacker. Your corners are Fabian Lemuel and Tremel Banks, both juniors. Here's a rollout left by Carter, throws it against the grain, and dangerous pass is caught for about 15 yards. It's about the 41-yard line, make it 14, but that was a tough throw. Carter making it, the righty running to the left and able to complete that pass for a first down.
Yeah, it's always more difficult for right-handed quarterbacks to roll out to their left because they have to flip their hips, which causes them to waste more time and allow the defense to recover. There, the defense looked like they did recover. Perfect coverage, but a perfect catch from the receiver. First down, Grizzlies.
That was Blair on the reception. He is now ranging out left-hand side. Back into the defense, Taylor Gibbs moved from corner last year. We're number 26. Got an INT against Vista Ridge last week. Logan Farenthold, again, leading the team in tackles with 15. The junior at free safety wearing number 5. And now another flag comes out before the play gets underway here for the Grizzlies, and it's going to be a delay of game. So as impressive as Glenn has looked on offense, this is the third game of the season. These are penalties you don't normally see, maybe the first game of the season, but not the third.
Yeah, these are the kind of penalties that drive coaches crazy, especially when you are in the third week of the season. These are penalties that you should have already fixed by now. Procedural penalties, false start penalties, delay of game penalties. You can't be having that if you want to have success, if you want to get wins in the win column.
First and 15. Glenn at the 46-yard line after the penalty is assessed. And it's a keeper and then pitch out left-hand side. That out to Ortiz by Carter. And Ortiz finds a little bit of room on the far side sideline, but then driven back from the 40-yard line. That's where his forward momentum will go. It's well enough for about 7 yards, so gain a little bit back off that penalty and get into much more easier situation. A 2nd and 9 coming up. Ball on the 40.
We talked about how the Grizzlies are moving the spread now. Right there, a triple option out of the spread look, kind of a callback to their old slot TV wishbone days.
The receivers out right-hand side, and now officials say we got to stop here and then go back. The clock continues to run on the play clock, though, at 4. 3, here's Carter. 1 on the play clock, and just gets it off, and then flags fly again. And the Grizzlies cannot get things organized here on offense. Again, another pre-snap motion penalty will go against Glenn. And every time they take one step forward, it seems like it's 2 steps back right after that. 22 seconds left here in the first quarter play. Bowie leading 7-0 on the road. And Glenn, again, has shown the ability to move the football pretty effectively, as long as there's not a flag thrown. Carter hands it off, finding the edge. Big lane to run all the way inside the 35 to the 34-yard line goes Gordon, and he makes it a much more manageable 3rd and short situation for Glenn inside the 35-yard line in Bowie territory.
And right there, Gordon, if he would have just set up his block with number 72, Kassan, he would have had the first down easily. But now, like you said, D, much more manageable 3rd down. But like we've seen so far, you got to stay away from the penalties here for you, the Grizzlies.
3rd and 3 officially, under 10 seconds to go in the first quarter. Carter, a little bit delay, and then he throws it deep down the left sideline. This is well overthrown and incomplete. And then the late flag comes in, and I think this is going to be roughing the passer. So neither team now can show the discipline needed to get out of this drive. And that will keep this drive going. That would say 3rd and 3. That would have been 4th and 3. I'm sure that Glenn would have gone for it. This is kind of no man's land, but they don't have to worry about it because it's personal foul roughing the passer against the Bulldogs, and the defense has to stay out onto the field. So 2 big personal fouls by the Bowie defense, one a face mask, and now roughing the passer gets Glenn all the way down to the 19-yard line of Bowie, down by 7. 3 seconds to go here in the quarter.
Yeah, it's a tough penalty to swallow if you're Bowie. You're just granting and gifting this Grizzly offense first downs.
Ortiz out left-hand side, 2 receivers out right-hand side. Ortiz in motion now in the backfield, come out right inside. He's looking for the pass. Instead, they're going to go to the middle of the end zone, and it'll be caught for the score. Touchdown from 19 yards out. Carter with a dart hits Davis for the score. He's back in, feeling quite good. And the Glen Grizzlies now an extra point away from knotting this one up at 7.
And right there, the Grizzlies taking a page out of Bowie's playbook. Play action pass that gets the secondary biting on the run. And once Carter saw that, all he had to do was deliver a perfect strike to Davis over the top of the field in with the post route. Beautiful pitch and catch, and they're looking to tie the game here.
Here is the extra point by Alvarez, and he knocks this one through just over about 5 or 6 feet above the crossbar to make it 7s with no time left here in the first quarter of play. Glen and Bowie going at each other. This is very reminiscent of last year, where Glen actually carried a 1-point lead in the locker room, 21-20. Bowie's looking not for a repeat of a first half that they had last season. Right now, we'll see how the second quarter goes. There'll be an offense to start things out. This is Bowie Bulldog football.
McLean Family Dental is a proud supporter of Bowie football. Locally owned and operated by Dr. Deidre and Dr. James McLean. We are so excited to be celebrating over 10 years of providing compassionate, conservative, and comprehensive dental care for patients of all ages in Circle C, Shady Hollow, and Southwest Austin. From your friends and neighbors at McLean Family Dental, go Dogs!
Back to play here at AC Bible Junior Memorial Stadium. The sun has pretty much gone away as the lights are on, and we are now nighttime mode. And the starting temperature today was 91 degrees. It felt much hotter than that on the field. We went down there to talk with Coach Abels and see what was going on, and no real wind to speak of, 30% humidity. Glen Grizzlies capping off a drive that was fueled by a couple of personal fouls by Bowie, but also driven back by some procedural calls. Were able to mitigate their way down the field and get in for 6, a 19-yard touchdown from Carter to Davis. It's 7-7. One game for 26-6A play was played last night, where the Johnson Jaguars had a 26-6. They got the first win of the season. They took out the Austin High Maroons. Austin High now the only team in the district with no wins on the season. And there are 3 teams that are undefeated going into action tonight in 26-6A. Lake Travis, Dripping Springs, and the Aikens Eagles, all at 2-0. And as soon as we go through everything else, another flag is thrown on special teams for Glen, as they also had another procedural call trying to kick the ball away. And they will have to bring it back to their own 35-yard line now. Here's Israel Alvarez, the senior, to kick it. Should be a situation where Bowie's able to return this ball, and it's going to be fair caught instead around the 25. That'll be 1st and 10 there for Bowie to get things going. That was Jackson Jones who got underneath that one. It was a short kick, and we've already seen Glen now do that to open up the game, and now off of the touchdown when they kick it off, they're not letting the deep returners for Bowie get their hands on the football.
Yeah, the best way to limit big explosive plays for the other team is to keep it away from their big explosive players. And right now, Glen realizes that to the fullest. They're just going to keep push kicking it and making Bowie, they have to move the ball down the field to score.
A pair of juniors deep to receive normally, and Katz and Drangy, both speedsters here for the Bulldogs. 1st and 10 from their own 26-yard line. I said 25, but not 26. Moreno shifts over from right to left out of the shotgun. Haywood at quarterback. And Moreno gets the carry. Has a bit of a lane on the right-hand side. Takes a tackler up to the 22. And Bowie taking their time here, but again, not finding any room to roam running the football. Glen doing a good job of stacking the box. Braden Van Duren Fuller with the stop, the junior linebacker.
Yeah, right now these linebackers for the Grizzlies are flowing so well over the top. Their defensive line is holding the offensive line. They're avoiding the blocks on the top side and making great plays in the backfield.
Campbell, your lone receiver near side, and now Moreno will join him. There's That's a short side of the field. Empty backfield. Keeper by Haywood tries to find an A-gap lane and gets up to maybe the 29-yard line for about 2 yards. And the running game here for Bowie, and a little shaky coming up, is Haywood off of that run. And he's hurt. He's going to come off the field, and he is favoring that right leg. And that means coming in is Brady Lamb, the senior, who on the season has passed for 12 times, completed 5. He went 1 of 6 for 6 yards last week against Vista Ridge. 6 on the play clock. 3 on the play clock. They're going to have to take a timeout on this one to get out of the delay of game, and that's exactly what's going to have to happen. That little hiccup, the quarterback shuffle for Bowie caused that issue, I'm sure. And that's the second timeout taken here for Bowie, 1 remaining. We saw a lot of this last week against Vista Ridge and using up some timeouts. And so Bowie will have 1 remaining here in the first half to collect themselves. But Haywood limping off the field, favoring that right leg, is a kind of a big blow here for Bowie, who really looks to him to run the football to set the table.
Yeah, I mean, he's been the best piece of this offense over the past few weeks, and if Bowie's going to lose a guy like Haywood, at least for the moment, it could make a defense like Glenn pin their ears back and go right after the new quarterback Lamb. You know, in this situation now, only 1 timeout here in the first half. Bowie's got to be time conscious. They have to understand that if you're going to move the ball down the field and trying to keep the ball away from Glenn, you have to get out your best plays and manage the clock wisely.
It's 2 big hits on the entry front. We're not saying anybody's not going to come back into the game, but Wells got hurt. They haven't seen him back after scoring the touchdown, and then Haywood. I believe Haywood's back in. He can come back in out of the timeout. In motion is Watts from left to right. He's the lone receiver on the near side now. It is Haywood. Play action looking deep down the middle of the field. A little bit behind his receiver, but it's still caught by Nelson. And he's able to get past midfield all the way into Grizzly territory at the 47-yard line. And again, the pass does not have to be perfect. This time, the adjustment was made by the receiver, and he gets a big gain.
Yeah, you've already mentioned it, D. Just the depth of this wide receiver room, the ability for Nelson there to turn around, maneuver his body, catch that ball behind him, so impressive, and helps his team get this big first down.
Drangy outright, trips left-hand side, quickly to the line. Didn't mean to cut you off there, TJ. The handoff goes up the middle, though, to Moreno, and he gains maybe 3 on the play. You have to feel at some point, this is a 5A team, so depth might be a consideration as the game goes on. You might wear down this defensive front a little bit. This is a good offensive line for the Bulldogs. There's going to be a moment where Moreno's going to break one, and I think that's exactly what's happening right now, trying to play on that idea.
Oh, exactly. Moreno is such a good running back. He just needs a little bit of room, a little crease to pop through for a big one.
Dringy out right, 2 receivers out left. Hand side far out left is Watts. Haywood on the slant to Watts, caught at the 37-yard line, upfield to the 30. Make it the 31, but nonetheless, this is the best rhythm that we have seen from Haywood passing the ball this season.
And when you think about it, it's really just been plays where he just step back, find the quick out, find the guy that's open really quickly, and for right now, it's working really well.
Watts, Nelson, and I believe Drangy out far out, right-hand side, that's Cruz Pittman. And the handoff still goes up the middle. This one, pretty good gain. Down to the 27-yard line, ball in the middle of the field by Moreno. And you can tell still, though, that Haywood favoring that right leg. But he's throwing the ball with relative accuracy, and the timing is there.
Yeah, the timing's definitely there. Expect, though, less QB runs if Haywood is going to be favoring that right ankle moving forward.
Moreno gets the carry on a counter, and he goes upfield, and he gets out of an ankle tackle almost, just enough for other defenders to come in and clean it up, but he gets enough momentum past the 20 to the 19-yard line to convert the first down.
And you've already mentioned it, D, the ability of Moreno just to go through, follow his blockers, and right there finds the cutback lane to the right, puts his foot in the ground and gets the first down with his speed.
Carson Ledford doing a good job of blocking up front too. He comes out of the game temporarily. Trips right-hand side. That's the short side of the field, kind of. It's the ball is more than like in the middle of the field. One receiver out left-hand side. And it's going to be a flare out to the right to Watts. He gets out of a couple of tackles, but the blocking, it's very difficult in those situations on that kind of side-to-side passing game, but still gets upfield to the 16-yard line, about 4 yards.
Yeah, right there, number 20, Victor Ball in the corner for the Grizzlies did a really good job of fighting through that block, causing havoc there in the backfield, and not really letting the receiver get too much room to work with.
And I'm telling you, all the Grizzly defenders are around the 9 and in. There's nobody deep to back for this team. Moreno's in motion now. He's out of the backfield. Hayward looks that way. He pumps fakes a couple times, and he hits the ball is hit out of his hands, but Hayward gets on top of it at the 21-yard line. It's going to be a loss of around 5 on the play, but Bowie's very fortunate there that Hayward was able to get on top of that ball without losing and getting a turnover, but a brilliant play coming up from behind. Braylon Duche, the linebacker, popping that ball out.
I'd argue that the Grizzlies are even more lucky that Hayward wasn't able to get the ball off. On the bottom part of your screen on a stop and go route, Campbell was open in the end zone, and Hayward had a beat on him, but he wasn't able to make the throw.
Moreno out left-hand side of the shotgun, trips left-hand side, and it's going to be a delayed draw to Moreno, but that goes nowhere. And a 3rd and 12. This might be 2-down territory. That's why you ran it there for Bowie. But the clock runs at 6:19 left here in the first half. And no, it will be a kicking situation. And coming out to attempt this one will be Drangy. Ball placed in the middle of the field. 30. Ball middle of the field and 31 yards. Middle of the field, it's kicked. It is up, and Drangy puts it through. Nice job in getting the hold down for Damio Hoare. And Bowie retakes the lead at 10-7 on the field goal with 5:45 left in the first half of play. This is Bowie Bulldog football.
At Firehouse Subs, a portion of every purchase helps provide much-needed life-saving equipment to first responders all across the country. This year, contributions from Firehouse Subs and their suppliers will total a minimum of $1 million to support first responders via the Firehouse Subs Public Safety Foundation. Firehouse Subs Public Safety Foundation has awarded over 300 grants worth more than $4.3 million to public safety organizations all across the great state of Texas. In the greater Austin area alone, more than $343,000 has been granted to local public safety organizations, including Travis County Emergency Services, Williamson County Sheriff's Office, and ACC's Police Department. Founded by brothers and former firefighters Chris Sorensen and Robin Sorensen, Firehouse Subs is the real deal. They know firefighters crave delicious food and a lot of it, so they've made sure every sub at Firehouse Subs is piled high with freshly sliced meat and delicious cheeses. Firehouse Subs. Enjoy more subs, save more lives.
10-7 is your score. Drangy converting on his first field goal. This is the first field goal attempted of the season for Bowie. Able to get Bowie back on top 10-7. Again, like I said. And the Bowie Bulldogs back out on the kicking unit here from their own 40-yard line going left to right. But have that sun go down. Got really heat. A lot of heat here. High humidity. Now, much more pleasant evening in the mid-80s. This is a floater, and it's going to be fielded by Davis on a fair catch at his own 4. Bring the ball back up to the 25-yard line. 1st and 10. Other games going on here tonight. Number 15 against number 6. Big-time game in the state of Texas. Westlake is visiting Atascocita, and the Eagles had a 23-6A. Westlake coming in at 15 in the state. Del Valle hosting Leander. The Lions looking for their first win of the season, also at an 8-5A. Midland Legacy Rebels are visiting the Lake Travis Cavaliers. Cavs coming in at number 8 in the state. Number 16, Dripping Springs hosting the Harker Heights Knights, who have started out quite well at a 12-6A at 2-0. And the Aikens Eagles also, they're at Berger this evening. They host Maynard New Tech at a 13-4A. Here's a fake on the handoff and an end around left-hand side. Davis has it. He will be wrangled and then out of bounds he goes. A little extracurricular at the end of that one too, as Hinton clean things up on the near side sideline in front of that bench, and now a very late flag comes in at the very end of the play. This could go either way, but the majority of the Bulldogs were away from the near side sideline, which is the home side of the field. So I have to imagine this might go against the Grizzlies.
And if it does, that's going to be another penalty that hurts Glenn here tonight. Like you've said before, they're moving the ball well, but it's these penalties that are really, really hurting them right now.
5-yard carry by Davis, but it's not going to stand as we already have the ball being brought back. Dead ball found on sportsmanlike conduct against the Grizzlies. Will bring the ball back to the 15-yard line. It remains first down. Garrett Brown is our lead official. Jonathan Davis is the umpire. Head linesman Miguel Duran. Line judge is Mark Sawyer, and Greg Jacob is your back judge. Ortiz in motion, then he'll stay out from the left-hand side. Handoff goes inside. Good initial blocking, but then a host of white jerseys swallowing up the runner in Keaton Gordon. And he gets nothing on the play. It remains now 2nd and 20.
Yeah, we talked earlier about the push from the Grizzly defensive line. The push from these three up-front defensive linemen for the Bulldogs has been great all night. We've talked about just the ability for them to make plays, and right there, another great example of it. It's actually going to be third down coming up here, D.
It is, you're right. 3rd and 20. And press coverage across the board here for the Bulldogs. Still, though, there are two safeties deep back around the 27 of the Grizzlies. Rollout Carter has a bit of pressure, and he'll throw on the run and get it out of bounds. And there's also a flag on the near side sideline. That ball was so out of bounds, though. I don't understand. I guess pass interference is pass interference.
I'm thinking maybe holding. You can call that even on
holding is
uncatchable.
definitely, yeah, that definitely. That applies at every stage.
But to your point, that ball was out there near the water coolers. Way uncatchable.
Carter had to get rid of it as Hinton was bearing down on him around the goal line. It's 4th down.
So luckily for the Bulldogs, they picked that penalty up.
Yep.
Like we see the punting game come out.
So, big time penalty. It was a 38-yard field goal. I want to shortchange Dranky. And 2 deep return, Dranky and Katz. Both juniors. A lot of juniors on this team for Bowie. They have 7 on defense that start, and 4 on offense. Building quite a coalition of experience leading into the next couple seasons, including tonight. Here's the punt, nearly blocked. I thought it nearly would have been by Alvarez, and it's going to be fair caught at the 42-yard line. Very short kick. Dranky fields that one, and great starting field position for Bowie's offense on the field for the 3rd time tonight at the 42 of Glenn. Grizzlies won the coin toss, elected to defer. So Bowie now trying to build on momentum. They got a field goal. They got a stop on defense. It helped out that there was a penalty on the play and an unsportsmanlike conduct against Glenn. Their first 15-yarder of the game. Bowie has a couple that helped get the 7 on the board for the Grizzlies. But now Bowie's offense back out on the field. We have not seen Rowan Wells on the field. Here's Haywood, who's going to try to run the football with that gimpy right leg, and he will go out of bounds for maybe a yard at the 41. Clearly not nearly the level of quickness and speed we're accustomed to seeing from the senior QB. They'll bring up a 2nd and 9. You've got to keep that defense honest still, though, right?
Yeah, you really do, because if you don't, you're going to limit your playbook, and they're going to start sending the house knowing that Haywood isn't able to run. So right there, I think that's just Coach Abels and Coach Brannigan just saying, hey, he still has the ability to run. Respect that.
Receiver out right-hand side is Watts. Handoff goes slightly to the left to Moreno on a 2nd and 9. He'll gain almost 5 on the play inside to the 37-yard line of the Grizzlies, and a 3rd down coming up. I didn't give Dranky a lot of credit. The 38-yarder, first field goal of the season. He had a few last year, but that looked good from 48.
Yeah, if his team doesn't get it here, you might try and see Dranky come out.
I'm going to say. 3rd and 5 now from the 37-yard line. 7 in the box. There's a flag on the throw out left-hand side. Dranky catches it, but Davis stopped immediately and that flag was thrown. And the procedural call this time will go against Bowie in the most inopportune time for the Bulldogs. Here with 3:51 left in the first half. There's a 3rd and 5, now it's 3rd and 10. And it's single coverage out there. That's just how much confidence that Glenn has in Davis on Dranky in the top of the field. Trips bunch to the right-hand side. That is the long side of the field, going left to right. 3rd and 10, Haywood. Will bobble, and Watts will still retain possession, go upfield and get the 1st down. He got the ball at about the 1st down marker. Bobbled it a bit, maintained focus, and the defender was not able to really do much around that. And all the way down to the 29-yard line, and Watts has been a go-to guy on a lot of these drives.
Yeah, and right there, Watts, a quick inside slant route. He's Haywood's first option, and all Watts had to do was pull that one in. Got a little dicey there in the middle, but he was able to pull it in and get the 1st down.
Dranky now late coming over to get to this line of scrimmage, near side, handoff inside to Moreno, finds a lane and watch out, he's at the 20, he's at the 15, far side sideline, and there's a flag on the near side, he goes into the end zone for the score from 29 yards out, but away from the play, there's a flag at the 18.
And I think this one may be coming back to you, and that's going to be so bad.
We'll see. Dranky's clapping, and the defender, that's Victor Bala, doesn't seem too happy. This might be a holding call against Glenn.
And you rarely see defensive holding calls like that on a run play.
Away from the play on top of that. Garrett Brown, they're just going to say that actually Moreno's out at the 1. It looks, because I see the far side judge, and the ball's actually on the 3. So,
well, that's what they would give the point after try typically. I mean,
that's true.
Because I thought the far side ref had signaled for a touchdown.
I agree with you. Hands to the face is the call against Glenn. And you're exactly right. I didn't know if Moreno actually lost track of him as I went down and saw the flag. And you're exactly right, TJ. That is in for 6 from 19 yards out. Moreno with the score. His 5th of the season. Extra point, Dranky. Snap is back, the kick is up, and it is good. And now Bowie has scored 10 unanswered. They take control of this game a little bit more now. 17-7 on Glenn with 3:14 left in the first half of play. This is Bowie Bulldog football.
Attention Bulldog fans. After tonight's game, grab a bite during Mighty Fine's 5th quarter at Mighty Fine Burgers, Fries, and Shakes. Mighty Fine is open late during every regular season Friday night Bowie high school game. So join us tonight as Mighty Fine celebrates another Bulldog win. And grab a bite during Mighty Fine's 5th quarter at Mighty Fine's Burger, Fries, and Shakes.
$17-7, I said 19, I meant 29 on the touchdown run by Moreno, his first of the game, 5th of the season, makes it 17-7. Bowie now getting a little bit more comfortable on both sides of the football. And don't get too comfortable though, we've seen Glenn be able to move the football. I'm not going to say relative ease, but they do have playmakers. And whenever you have DeMarcus Davis on your squad, you have a chance in any game.
And just by having the spread now as your main offense, that opens up this field a lot more. Usually in the slot T that Glenn used to run, that's going to take time off the clock. You're running the ball, keeping the ball on the ground. But now you're able to spread the ball out, put the ball in the air, and hopefully, for Glenn's case, move the ball down the field quickly.
Look at how games are faring across the 26-6A landscape at halftime. Of course, we'll have the bands for you as well. As we get closer to the Austin Irrigation Specialist halftime. Bowie now with the football at the 45-yard line of Glenn, as there's a penalty at the end of that play against the Grizzlies, a personal foul. 6 on the play clock. And now they're going to go to onside kick formation, and Drangy kicks it right to the receiver on that one. A little bit of confusion there, I felt, across the board. But Glenn was ready for it, and Colin King got the reception. So it'll be 1st and 10 for Glenn. With 3:14 left, they have all 3 of their timeouts remaining on their own 34-yard line, going right to left.
Yeah, they're on that last kickoff play. I think Bowie was trying to catch Glenn by surprise just by having that field position and everything, but weren't able to do so with the play clock running down. Glenn gets the ball, and now good field position here to start with 3:14.
Not a horrible idea. I mean, you're in the first half. You're a non-district. You're kicking it away in their own territory.
Yeah, 100%.
Might as well try, right? So a little bit of motion here, but it's going to be handoff instead. It's going to be Keaton Gordon with the carry. He'll get it up to the 40-yard line against Medina Valley, the first game of the season. He only had 17 yards rushing, but it was on 3 carries. So he, again, is still the primary back for this team. He had almost 700 yards last year, 8 touchdowns.
And that's just a good first down play. Your offense has been kind of sputtering the past few drives. Just get some positive yards with the first down play and get everyone back in the process.
Settle them down a little bit. 6 yards officially. Little motion again to their handoff inside. No, it's going to be an option pitch right inside. And that's from Carter on that far side sideline to Ortiz. And Ortiz gets well enough for a first down to move the chains near midfield.
Another great play call there, keeping the ball on the ground with that triple option look. You're reading that defensive end, and the quarterback then reads the outside linebacker. Great pitch. First down, Grizzlies.
Yeah, and the Grizzlies look smooth in running those triple options, which at times can be difficult,
especially out of the spread.
To master, absolutely. Carter with Gordon to his left-hand side. We'll get it on the inside handoff, and here's Ortiz again. And get your playmakers in space. That's what Glenn's been doing pretty well most of the evening. And Ortiz will get about 7. 2nd and 3 coming up, the 44-yard line of the Bulldogs.
And the fact that Ortiz was able to get anything there is impressive. He got met in the backfield by a Bowie defensive lineman, but he was able to shake that tackle and get some good yardage.
Now the shotgun is Carter. He'll motion for Keaton Gordon to his right, and there's going to be a timeout taken by Glenn. They have 2 remaining. No, excuse me, it's a 2-minute timeout. We'll keep it here. So 3 timeouts remaining here for Glenn. So getting adjusted to that. 17-7 lead for Bowie, up by 10. Bowie has now lost their last 2 on the road, trying to avert that. Right now in good standing so far with the lead. And they are starting 1-1 on the season. And have not done that since 2019. Usually this is a team that has actually started out quite well in non-district play, the Bowie Bulldogs. Last year they went undefeated, 4-0. Play action, roll out right hand side. Carter on a 2nd and 3 is going to wind up and air it out. High ball up in the air, and it's going to be caught for the score. From 44 yards out, he dialed up Davis once again, and they connect for 6.
What a pitch and catch there, D. To have the play action in the backfield, Carter rolling out to his right. You have Davis on the left-hand side, on the bottom of your screen. He's running just a simple post route again, just like we saw on his first touchdown, but this time a lot more strung out. He gets behind the defense. Carter delivers a strike. What a touchdown and what a response from the Grizzlies.
Alvarez now shaping up for the extra point. Jaden Smith holding. It is up, and it is good. It's 17-14 now to that 44-yard connection between Carter and Davis. The second time they have done that tonight. And now Glenn has shaved that lead down to 3 with 1:50 left here in the first half of play. This is Bowie Bulldog football.
McLean Family Dental is a proud supporter of Bowie football. Locally owned and operated by Dr. Deidre and Dr. James McLean. We are so excited to be celebrating over 10 years of providing compassionate, conservative, and comprehensive dental care for patients of all ages in Circle C, Shady Hollow, and Southwest Austin. From your friends and neighbors at McLean Family Dental, go Dogs!
Rudy's Barbecue is a proud sponsor of Bowie High School football. Be sure to stop by your local Rudy's or Rudy's.com to place an order for their real Texas barbecue. Enjoy 100% oak smoked meats, delicious sides, and Rudy's signature sauce. And don't forget, Rudy serves made-to-order and grab-and-go breakfast tacos every day until 10 a.m.
17-14 now the lead. As soon as we felt like Bowie might be taking control of this game, Glenn said, you know what, we're just going to dial up DeMarcus Davis for the second time tonight, this time from 44 yards out. And they're able to get another 7 on the board, down by 3 here from AC Bible Junior Memorial Stadium. And the kickoff is short and upfield it goes from the 24-yard line and then out of bounds on the near side sideline. Jackson Jones, the senior, brings it back up. We're going to mark him at the 30. First and 10 for Bowie with 1:47 left in this first half, leading by 3. First and 10 coming up. TJ, this might not seem like that big of a deal, but we would love to get another score on the board going into half as Glenn will receive that second half kickoff and clearly have now kind of grabbed momentum back in their side a little bit.
No, 100%. It is a big deal. Right now, Bowie needs to move the ball down the field quickly and at least get 3 points on the board just to respond back to the Grizzly touchdown that we just saw.
4 wideouts, 2 split to each side. Here's Haywood with the flare out right hand side of Moreno. Gets hit initially, gets out of that, and now stays on his feet to the 31 maybe, and they're going to actually say no forward progress, and he's going to get back to the line of scrimmage. He was hit around the 27-yard line pretty violently, but absorbed it and keeps Bowie from losing yardage on the play.
And right now, ball security is key for the Bulldogs. Got to hold on to the ball here. You do not want to give the ball back. And I was going to say, I was surprised there that the Grizzlies hadn't taken a timeout yet with 3 left. And finally, they called one there with 1:19 left.
Yep, so that will stop the clock at 1:19 left, like you said before. And now Glenn has 2 remaining.
Especially after getting that first stop, that initial stop there on that pass play. Thought maybe Glenn was going to call that time out there just to save more of the clock, but they let some more time run off the clock.
Pretty sparse crowd. It seems that way. We're on the home side. But the AC Bible holds just over 10,000 fans. And although it's not the size of Berger, and there are very few stadiums in the area that clocks in around 15,000. AC Bible again, storied history of the stadium being moved from the Odessa Permian area back in the Friday Night Lights days. That is long gone now. In 2007, they have now completely renovated this place and continue to. They built on that. Out of timeout, second and 10 for Bowie. Ball on the near side hash, trips left-hand side, 1 right. Here's Haywood. He'll flare this out left-hand side. Caught by Nelson upfield. He gets the first down. That'll stop the clock at 1:13. 11-yard pitch and catch at the 41-yard line.
Right there, you had trips to the top of your screen, each one of them running a curl route, and Haywood, all he had to do was select which one was open, found the open guy, and got the first.
Watts out far right-hand side. That's a long side of the field. Nelson the slot to the right. They're going to go to Watts on a slant. He ducks under one tackler, and that ends up being actually maybe even a loss of the play. Instead, they're going to give him the 45-yard line, a 4-yard gain, and now The hurry-up offense is going here for Bulldogs under a minute to go. 45, 44, play action. Here's Haywood going middle of the field, caught at the 37-yard line. That field ball is loose, and then still retaining possession is Drangy. He is Johnny on the spot. Nelson made the reception, lost the ball around the 30. The ball is going to be recovered at the 32. Chains move, clock stops at 30 seconds, and now it runs. Here's Haywood, snap back, looking down the middle of the field. Drangy, the intended receiver, quit his route, or stopped his route at around 10. And that will stop the clock with 23 seconds to go. 2nd and 10 for the Bulldogs. Trying to shape up for anything else other than maybe even a field goal, but I think they're still slightly out of range for Drangy from that capacity. One timeout to go as well for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, with 23 seconds left, I do think we'll see at least a few more shots to that end zone, especially with the one timeout left. But to your point, D, you'd love to at least get some points on the board if you can get in the field goal range for Drangy.
Wells has not come back into this game since he took that spill on the TD reception. Here is a pass wobbly, and it's going to be near side, and then flags fly. Drangy, the intended receiver. And this will more likely be a defensive pass interference against Victor Bala, the senior corner, and he is beside himself. But I think it was pretty clear that that was a pass interference, and Drangy clapping his way and his team down the field for a first down. Now there's a little bit of time here for Bowie to collect themselves, and that is going to be pass interference against Glenn. And Coach Brandon Kroskoff is none too pleased as he continues to berate the head linesman down that right sideline. 17 seconds left. The play clock now starts. And the skilled position players are just now coming off of the sideline. They're coming back. 13 on the play clock. Moreno in motion out left. Haywood motions that way. Now we'll run right hand side, and now we'll just throw it away as he will be driven out of bounds. And a lot of collisions, and you saw Nelson being thrown down to the field kind of there on the near side sideline by Bala around the 5. No flags fly. 9 seconds to go for Bowie. You feel like they have one more play to go here, or should they just try for the field goal?
They definitely have one more play to go, at least just having that timeout in your back pocket. You can go over the middle of the field. You can attack any part that you want. This is your best play call here coming up offensively.
So now you have 2 receivers out near side, 2 out left hand side, and 2 out right. I'm trying to say that. 2nd and 10. One more offensive play here. Here is Haywood going middle of the field. It's caught at the 2-yard line. They call a timeout immediately with 1 on the game clock. Bowie gets the timeout just in the nick of time. 1 second to go at the 1.
Just got that one in the nick of time. That was the same play call, D, that we just saw on the previous play. You go back in the film, you're going to see Haywood miss his wide open receiver on the last play. Tried to find him over the middle there. Great defensive work to stop him at the 1-yard line.
Lost track on it. Who caught that ball? I'm trying to see on the replay. And that is Watts, who gets the reception. He was that close to the goal line. I'm telling you, the ball is just inside the 1. With 1 second to go, Bowie has no timeouts remaining, and they're going to go for 6.
You go for it in this kind of situation, D. When you talk about getting momentum back in this game, when you talk about putting away an opponent early, this is the spot where you do it right here, and Bowie wants to make a statement.
But what do you do here?
You run with your boy Moreno right up the middle. You follow your offensive lineman to the left, and you go in for Pater, or you throw to the wide open receiver at the top of your screen right now.
One receiver with no defenders out to Drangy. I mean, he's wide open. There's nobody on him. There's confusion all over the board. The Grizzlies are now forced to take a timeout, which is huge advantage for Bowie in this instance. And I'm telling you, there are coaches for the Grizzlies out on the field near the hash. They are they're mad at their own team.
Yeah, they're absolutely so mad at their team right now, just knowing that they left a wide open receiver at the top of the screen. If there wasn't a timeout left in the Grizzly playbook, they would have easily given up a touchdown there. Oh my goodness, what a breakdown.
Had his hands in his pockets. Nobody was there.
I'm surprised that Bowie didn't try to rush the ball and snap it. There was no urgency, I felt like.
1 second to go, and back-to-back timeouts. First by Bowie and then by Glenn. Boy, that first quarter flew by. The second quarter, not so much.
The past few minutes, all these scores back and forth. Yeah, it's caused this second quarter to kind of drag on.
What big play this is in the context of this game overall. I mean, Bowie is not able to get in. A big momentum continuing here for Glenn, is able to get back into this game and that long touchdown. And now Haywood will have a massive shift all the way from left to right by Drangy. It's going to be a direct snap to Moreno. He goes in for the score. Touchdown, Bulldogs. What a turn of events. Watts with the reception to cue it up here for Moreno, who goes in for his second rushing score of the evening. Bowie 1 point away from going back up by 10.
Bowie out of the wildcat formation and putting Moreno in the backfield, getting another blocker out on the field, and right there, so simple for Moreno. Just had to run right up the middle, follow his blockers. Touchdown, Bowie. You want to talk about making a statement? That's how you do it right there.
Drangy with the extra point attempt. He is perfect on the season. I said it mid-swing, so I didn't jinx him, and it goes through. 24-14 with zeros on the board. We have concluded both quarters with scores with 0 on the board. Glenn had that last one in the first quarter, but Bowie with the big one here in the second quarter to go into the locker room up by 10 against the Grizzlies. And another reason why we kind of touched on it a little bit as the game's gone on, TJ, is that Glenn will receive the ball to start the second half, so that was a big score for Bowie.
100%. You had to put the ball in the end zone there. We talked about getting points just with the field goal. Now, you really wanted to put the ball in the end zone there if you're Coach Abels and this Bulldog team. Luckily for them, they were able to do so. Now they can go into the locker room at half, back up with that 10-point lead.
Halftime is upon us. The Austin Irrigation Specialist halftime. Appreciate their support of Bowie football. And the clock running now, 30 minutes to go before the second half will get underway, and the band's coming out onto the field. Bowie Bulldogs answer the 44-yard touchdown from Carter Davis with a 1-yard score of Moreno, teed up by Watts. Boys, he had a whale of a game receiving for this Bowie squad. And we talked about some of the ineptness in being able to throw the football. Haywood had been such a big player at quarterback for Bowie running the ball. He had almost 90 yards rushing last week against the Rangers. He gets nicked up a bit, clearly has a bad right wheel, but he has been throwing it quite nicely here, especially here in the second quarter. We're talking about some big throws on some drives.
Yeah, almost like you take the running game out of it in Haywood's mind, it makes him throw better. Reminds me of Kurt Schilling in the 2004 ALCS with the bloody ankle. It's one of those things. You may just pitch a little bit better when you're feeling just a little bit hurt. It's that adrenaline. It's that Friday night football. It's that playing for your school in Texas.
Band is out on the field now. We're going to throw it out to the field here on the halftime, the Austin Irrigation Specials halftime. Once again, Bowie up by 10 once again. Their largest lead of the game equaled twice. Now 24-14 against the Glen Grizzlies. This is Bowie Bulldog football.
on goal. Direction of drum major. Will Sauce, Claire Bruin, Alex Flores, and Jackie Snowden.
Doing back, buddy. Hey, honestly,
Tonight we be featuring
no, but I think she did a really good catch. Jaden, threw by 40 yards in the cottage. 40 yards? Yeah.
Music arrangements by Doug Kerr and Dr. Jordan. Bowie Band under the direction of Jennifer Hanford, Tyler Jass, Joshua Vype, Reed Paxton, and Jay Riley. The section of the week is the percussion. Thank you for all your hard work and dedication to this program. That was up to your contest this weekend. The week will be loves our sponsors, and tonight we'd like to thank the Tower and Maestro Bubble sponsors for their amazing support. The winner Tower Bubble sponsor, Julie G. Holmes, and the outstanding Maestro Bubble sponsor, Amanda Esbrook, Allstate Insurance. The week will be like the Grizzly and the basketball upcoming season.
I'm there when y'all are there.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Jays moving on to a performing ensemble.
Ladies and gentlemen, for your halftime enjoyment, the Leander Independent District is proud to present the Glen High School Guardians Destiny. The 2025 Guardian Officers are Social Officers Lane Cooper, Pepper Kalipka, Caitlin Lopez, and Natalie Rocha. Vice President Alana Martinez and President Ditia Mukituru. Lieutenant Jerry Jackson. Lieutenant Charlotte Houston, Lieutenant Anthony Guerrero, First Lieutenant Sidney Garza, and the Captain, Emma Mitchell. The spirit of the Guardians is Magnolia Hawk, and the Guardian of the Weekend is Parker Hayes. Joining the ladies tonight are the Teachers, Angels, Destiny, and our Fear Invincible Dance programs, the Daniels Dynasty, the Leander Progress, and the Wiley Silver Spurs. We are great to have these angels with us on the field this evening. Tonight, the dance teams are excited to perform their musical call to Starship.
I need to go pee. Hey guys.
At Firehouse Subs, a portion of every purchase helps provide much-needed life-saving equipment to first responders all across the country. This year, contributions from Firehouse Subs and their suppliers will total a minimum of $1 million to support first responders via the Firehouse Subs Public Safety Foundation. Firehouse Subs Public Safety Foundation has awarded over 300 grants worth more than $4.3 million to public safety organizations all across the great state of Texas. In the greater Austin area alone, more than $343,000 has been granted to local public safety organizations, including Travis County Emergency Services, Williamson County Sheriff's Office, and ACC's Police Department. Founded by brothers and former firefighters Chris Sorensen and Robin Sorensen, Firehouse Subs is the real deal. They know firefighters crave delicious food and a lot of it, so they've made sure every sub at Firehouse Subs is piled high with freshly sliced meat and delicious cheeses. Firehouse Subs. Enjoy more subs, save more lives.
About a minute to go here before the second half. We'll get underway from AC Bible Junior Memorial Stadium. Dee Hanson joined by TJ Bella. Thanks for joining us here along the Vype Live Network. Bowie Bulldogs are up by 10, 24-14. They got a last-second, literally, touchdown from Reese Moreno, his second of the game, to get back on top by double digits. Able to do that for the second time in the contest, although Glenn is not going away. They scored a late touchdown from 44 yards out. Carter to Davis. That's the second time those two have connected to make it 17-14 with under 2 to go. So Bowie, that touchdown at the end of the first half, so big, as Glenn won the coin toss, elected to defer, so they will be getting the ball to start off the second half. And TJ, that in and of itself is the reason why Bowie's touchdown meant so much. This also, now the start of the third quarter, is always talked about. at any level you mentioned the start of the third quarter being such a tone setter, but you can't really look past the fact that that is also the case here.
No, without a doubt. Putting those points on the board with a touchdown was so big for Bowie. And it's important because, as we saw there at the end of the first half, Carter, the quarterback for the Grizzlies, is getting hot. He's connecting with Davis. We've seen it twice already in the end zone. So we'll see how we start here. Hopefully the Bulldogs defense is ready enough for the task here to set the tone.
Bulldogs have only given up about 21 points per game, and Glenn is definitely positioned to eclipse that. And the kickoff by Moore is fielded up across the sideline from about the 2. Special teams coming up big at the end of that play, though. At the 22-yard line is where the returner and Evan Blair, as he tried to cross the field, find some room there, got upended and is stopped, which I would say would be about, almost about 4 yards shy of the first down had he elected to not bring it out. And good coverage downfield, special teams. That from Alex Hurtado, a senior. So again, it will be 1st and 10 for Luke Carter at the quarterback. Man in motion instead will be handed off in a huge gaping hole there for Keaton Gordon. He has his easily best run of the evening. Flexes at the end of the carry, 13 yards to the 37-yard line.
And they're moving quickly here.
Tempo, it's the same play. This time Carter's driven back and stopped maybe 1 yard at the most. Exact same play. Different outcome. Defense coming up big. Mason East making the stop. 2nd and 9.
And in both those plays, it is the same play. It's a quarterback read. They're reading the defensive end on the outside. Both times the end squeeze, so the quarterback let the ball carrier take it. But that time there, the end was able to make the play in the backfield and limit the game.
Glenn in their home navy tops, orange bottoms, orange helmets, and now all kinds of confusion here on the second moment here that Glenn can kind of collect themselves. And you can tell Carter was not happy with the way that the rest of the team did not get into the formation that they needed to. So it's nice to have that for your quarterback, knowing what needs to happen. But on top of that, he's like, gotta take a timeout, coach, because they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, you have to have everyone on the same page, and unfortunately for Glenn, they have to waste the timeout here early. They took all 3 timeouts into their final drive in the first half, and now here early, have to burn one that may loom large later in this
Some
contest.
people might consider the fact that timeouts are more precious in the second half.
Yeah, 100%.
So we'll see if that ends up being a factor as this game continues to go. It's been rather close for the majority of the time. We've led 17-7, now 24-14. Here's an inside handoff. This is to Ortiz. And he has also been a major player in the offense. A lot of bodies falling at the end of that carry. Ortiz gets past the 40 to the 41-yard line. A modest gain. It's now 3rd and around 7 to go here for the Grizzlies.
And right now, Glenn trying to get that inside run going, giving different looks, using the motion there in that last play to get their running back, just moving a little bit quicker before the ball is snapped. But right now, the Bowie defense standing tough. They're making great stops.
You have 3 receivers essentially to the right-hand side. Gordon motions up, and then going from right to left is Ortiz. High lobbing pass off his back leg is going to be incomplete on the near side sideline, out of bounds on top of that. And that pass necessitated him leaving the hands of Carter much earlier than he wanted to because of the pressure he was feeling to Evan Blair. And that will bring up a 4th down and 7, and Glenn will be out there to punt it away. Israel Alvarez will do the honors.
A great effort there by the receiver trying to make a play on the ball, but you're right, D. Jackson Lang putting pressure into Carter's face, did a great job of having him throw that off his back foot.
Snap back, and Alvarez gets it blocked. It's at the 31-yard line, picked up all the way to right sideline. Bringing it back is hidden. There's a late flag at the end of the play, but it results in a touchdown for the Bowie Bulldogs. Now we have 2 flags on the return. There's one across the sideline on the visitors' sideline around, I would say, the 17. There's also a flag at the 11 in the middle of the field. That all has to be figured out. But right now, the special teams for Bowie has been actually spectacular all season. I know it's a young season, but so far they have been really on point. We have an illegal block in the back on the return by Hinton. So that will nullify the touchdown. It's a it's a spot foul, but there's 2 flags. I guess the other one we're not going to talk about.
They're both blocking the back.
They're both blocking the back. Well, because the flags were so far away from each other, I didn't know whether one was a different one than the other call.
Yeah, both refs saw it, and then you saw the head ref, he moved the flag closer to the other ref on the same yard line, so both blocking the back there. But unfortunate for Bowie, like you said, great play by the special teams to get the block and take it all the way to the end zone, but shooting yourself in the foot with that penalty.
You'll take that every single time. Even if it doesn't go in for the touchdown, you still get the ball to the 25-yard line of Glenn. What a great way to start out this defense, flexing for Bowie. Now the offense has an opportunity. Handoff from Moreno, bounces it away as he got met by a cavalcade of tacklers for Glenn and is able to stay on his feet to gain around 4 yards to the 21-yard line. It's 2nd and 6 for the Bulldogs deep in Grizzly territory.
And Moreno's doing a really good job keeping his feet churning. These defenders for the Grizzlies, they're trying to tackle him up top. You can't do that with a running back like him. He's going to keep his feet moving. He's going to fight through those tackles and get those extra yards like we just saw.
9.5 to go now, and Haywood with 15 on the play clock. Plenty of time. Moreno will come out as another receiver now. 2 to the left, trips to the right. Empty backfield. Haywood looks exclusively now right-hand side, lobs it out right, and it's caught by Drangy. It's going to lose yardage. 3 yards loss on that play on the far side sideline, and Victor Bala, who has had a balla of a game, makes the stop.
And right there,
I had to say it.
Yeah, I've been waiting for that one all day. Right now, the Grizzlies showing a different look, at least in the last set. A 3-man front. They're playing the pass a little bit more now, willing to sacrifice yards with the run, but really wanted to protect the pass game.
A big play that last time for Glenn. They really drive Bowie back to a more difficult 3rd and 8 at the 23 of Glenn. Haywood, play action, looks right side. It's lobbed in over the head of his intended receiver. Wide open was Jackson Jones, and because the pass was errant, Jones could not bring it in. it will be 4th and 8. Here's the field goal attempt from, I would say 40 yards out. Drangi's connected from 38. He's going to go for 3 from here. This one's launched. It is up, and it is no good off to the left-hand side. So Bowie squanders an opportunity. They got a block on a punt. The return by Hinton went in for 6 initially, was erased by a block in the back penalty, but it was first down and 10 from the 25-yard line of the Grizzlies for Bowie, and their offense can't do anything with it. So now Glenn has the football back at their own 23-yard line, down by 10 still, 24-14. That's where we were at half.
And what a great response there from Glenn. You give up the block punt. It looks like you're going to give up 6, but no, it gets negated by the penalty, and then your defense goes out there, forces a 3 and out, and forces the missed field goal. Great job by them.
Drangi again had plenty of distance, just missing off to the left-hand side. Steffens in motion from right to left. The handoff goes that direction as he is primarily just a blocking fullback. And Glenn might get 3 up to the 26-yard line on the run by Gordon. So Gordon will be your primary back again. Carter at quarterback. Steffens at fullback. Davis and Blair along with Ortiz are your primary wide receivers. Granduski, Kadur, Caldiza, Bolonos, Murphy, and White, Lozano from left to right in the offensive line, including your tight end there respectively at the end. Trips left-hand side, it will be Ortiz in motion. He's in the backfield now. Play action to him. Screen, it's complete to Carter, to Gordon. He gets it to the 30-yard line, and you know, a lot of fight left in Keaton Gordon. Gets him all the way up to the 34-yard line for a first down.
Similar to Moreno on the other side of the ball. If you're going to tackle Gordon, you have to do it by going at his legs. You cannot try and tackle him with the upper body. He's going to get through tackles. He's going to fight through that and get those extra yards for his team like we just saw there, a Grizzly first down.
3 down linemen in this 3-3 stack for Bowie, Venable, Hinton, and Lang. Lang and Hinton on the edges. East, Perez, Favor, and Villarreal are your linebackers. End around-ish out to the left-hand side and bowling over tacklers, and then thrown late at the very end of that one will also be a personal foul against Bowie. A little bit of frustration at the end of that play. DeMarcus Davis had it. He lowered that right shoulder, went over one tackler, and at the very end of it gets thrown to the ground well into the Bowie sideline for a personal foul.
Just a mental mistake there from Bowie. Really doesn't help them. Obviously now Glenn gets the first down. They're in the Bowie side of the field. Right now you have to dig in if you're the Bulldog defense. Don't let that penalty affect you like we saw previously earlier in the first half on the other Grizzly touchdown drive.
Fairfold and Gibbs on the back end of the defense. Corners are Banks and Lemuel. They are coached by Coach Abels. 2 receivers right, 1 left, and they'll come in the backfield as Ortiz. They're going to go deep down the right sideline. It'll be way out of bounds near sideline. No chance on the play. Coming back for it was Blair. He didn't care if he was out of bounds or not, but he tried to make it. Vincent Villarreal, the linebacker, was on coverage.
Yeah, right there, Villarreal using the 12th man on defense. Who's the 12th man? It's the sideline. They always talk about the importance of just using all the areas of the field that you can. Villarreal right there pushes the man out, doesn't allow him to make the catch.
Under 7 to go, Bowie clinging to a 10-point advantage, 24-14. Their offense has been on the field 1 time by virtue of the fact that they got a block punt out of the deal. And I'm not going to say squandered, but certainly we'll look back at being first and 10 from the 25 of the Grizzlies with no score on the board. And now Glenn uses their second timeout here in the second half. And a close-ish game, that might prove to be somewhat of an issue as we get closer and closer to the end of the third quarter of play. Want to let you know, Lee and Kate Photography, they're not just about pictures, they're about people. As a couple of South Austin moms, Lee and Kate know how to capture real moments, whether it's senior portraits, family photos, or special milestones. Fall sessions are filling fast, so don't wait. Book today and let Lee and Kate bring creativity, heart, and style to your memories. Visit Lee and Kate Photography, mypicset.com, or through Instagram at Lee and Kate Photo. That's all spelled out. There's no ampersands or anything else like that. It's all
They do engagement photos?
They do. Now, this is I'm going to full disclosure, this is my wife's company.
Oh, okay.
She's starting with another one of her friends, and so...
I need to call you here soon, D. Call your wife.
She is insanely gifted when it comes to the craft of photography. 2nd and 10. Glenn, out of their second timeout, will have it at the 42 of Bowie. And it's going to be a pitch end around left-hand side. That fooled everybody, including myself. And then going out of bounds without being pushed is Blair. He might be shy of the first down. We'll see.
It was close over there on the top side.
He's out of bounds 2 yards shy of the first. I think it's 3rd down and 2. I only say that because I felt like had Blair had a little bit more effort, he might have gotten the first.
I agree with you completely on that one, D. He had it, and there was no one really around him, but he decided to run out of bounds, and he didn't get the first down.
Well, Sean Johnson is not lacking creativity. He has definitely thrown the book at Bowie's defense, but it does not matter. It's all for naught as you have a straight-up run by Gordon. They love that left side of the offensive line for the Grizzlies for good reason. He follows them, and he gets the first to the 30-yard line, a gain of 3. And Glenn is in business.
Yeah, he's very patient, Gordon is, just letting his blocks develop, letting really that push. I mean, there's only 3 guys on the defensive line. There's really only 1 defensive lineman on that left-hand side. So for them, it's really just a simple push, get those 2 extra yards, and get the first down.
Ortiz out right-hand side, 2 out to left, and Ortiz will be in motion. It'll be play action. Carter looking deep down the middle of the field, throws, and it will be incomplete on the other side of the field. There are no flags thrown. Davis was the intended receiver. He's asking for a flag. He's actually talking to his coaches asking for a flag. But that was more of I know the term has been out there a lot, incidental contact. That's certainly what ends up having Fehrenthal the closest defender for Bowie on that coverage.
Yeah, and then along with that, I mean, there was just no way to catch that. That was uncatchable by a mile.
Yep. 2nd and 10 from the 30-yard line of the Bulldogs. Going left to right, again, are the Grizzlies. Carter will hand it off. This has been working as Gordon has the carry, but this time not nearly as effective. Maybe 3 yards, and he'll get to the 27 with a 3rd and around 7 to go here for Glenn. Big time down coming up.
Yeah,
for both teams.
Right now, Bowie needs to dig in. They need to put their hand on the ground and say, I'm going to be the guy to make a play right here. This is a huge stop if you can make it and potentially get the ball back to your offense.
Pistol formation, trips right-hand side now. It'll be Ortiz in motion. Out to the left, roll out right by Carter, flags fly. Carter runs with the football, has the first down, and a little bit more down to the 18. But the flag is all the way back at the 34-yard line. That is about 4 yards behind the line of scrimmage. And if I had to guess, this will be a holding call. It is against Glenn. I've seen a few football games. 5:31 left in the 3rd quarter of play. Huge penalty once again. Now, Glenn, they could not get out of their own way in the first half with penalties. It's been rather clean, I would say, towards the end of the 2nd quarter and now well into the 3rd. We haven't seen a lot of this, but that was huge.
Yeah, that's going to be a massive penalty here on this drive. It's just another example of sloppy play that's affecting your team in the long run. Another penalty that puts you way behind the sticks you have to deal with now.
Blair out to the right-hand side. Gordon in motion out left. And Carter looks that way, but instead goes in the middle of the field. This is a surefire tackle that saves a huge gain on the play, and it was made. The completion was to Ortiz, But as soon as he caught that football, I mean, he gained around 3 or 4 yards on it, but Nathan Perez makes a huge tackle for this Bowie defense.
And Perez just did a great job fighting through that block. It would have been there if he didn't get through that block. That would have been a huge gain for Glenn. But Perez took it upon himself to make that play, get the solo tackle, and force the 4th down.
Under 5 to go, and Glenn's going for it. They have 1 timeout remaining in the half. They're down by 10. And they're going for it on a 4th and 11 from the 31-yard line of Bowie. No penalties if you're a Bowie fan. Out left-hand side, it is caught. Gordon has 1 man to beat for that 1st down, and he will not get there. Great tackle on the far side sideline. 2 yards shy of the first. There's some pushing and shoving at the end of that play, but my goodness, TJ, that was a huge play in this game.
2 plays in a row, 2 big tackles, 2 solo tackles in the open field at that. Right now, the Bulldog defense doing their job, doing what they do best, making stops and getting the ball back to their offense.
I say Gibbs made that tackle, number 26.
It was just so far up in the top of the screen.
It was a little far, but he has been pretty sure-handed, and if I'm not saying the right player, my apologies. We're going to find out here in a second. But now a turnover on downs forced by the defense. A keeper by Haywood. Look at him go! Right sideline! Midfield! He's still on his feet and they'll go out of bounds at the, well, we'll see as the officials continue to go down with him. I think I would say the 29-yard line if I had to guess. But yes, it's a bad wheel, but it's not flat. And he was able to get a huge gain on the play, and now Bowie at the 29-yard line of the Grizzlies on the game.
You said it earlier, D, keeping the defense honest, making sure that, hey, Haywood still has his legs under him. They hadn't been respecting that. They hadn't been keeping themselves honest. Right there, Haywood pulls it, gets the huge gain on the ground, puts the ball deep into enemy territory.
2 receivers out to the left-hand side. Watts out far out left, Drangy in the slot. And it'll be a handoff Moreno, who wants to get back into the thick of things and have his number and name mentioned. And this time he has one of his better gains, at least in that A gap that we've seen all night long. He gets around the 23-yard line for almost 7 yards.
You mentioned this earlier too, D, wearing down the defensive line of the Grizzlies. Right now, this offensive line for the Bulldogs is doing exactly that. 2 big gains on the ground to start this drive here. Let's see if they want to keep the ball on the ground moving forward.
A freshman now entering the mix. We've seen him a couple times in Hunter Willingham, a sophomore out right-hand side. I said freshman, it's a sophomore. 2 receivers out left. Handoff will go up the middle once again to Moreno. And he loves to bounce off tacklers. Forward progress is going to be stopped. He was brought down at around the 21 and a half. So it's 3rd down, and I would say a long 2, almost 3 yards here for Bowie.
And I'd also say it's 4 down territory. If you don't get this here, I think they're going to go for it. The whole playbook is wide open, especially knowing that Haywood can use his legs right now. If you're the Grizzly defense, you have to be aware of all of the playmakers, all of the assets on the field offensively for the Bulldogs right now.
Trevor Watts has been a huge player in this game, too. He's on the near side. One receiver out right is Drangy. It's going to be a keeper by Haywood, and he will be tripped up, but not until he is able to move forward to the 18-yard line, which is enough for a 1st down by a yard.
What a guy. Here on this drive, Haywood showing the toughness that a senior leader needs to possess, moving his team down the field basically by himself and getting another 1st down.
You want to see the blood on the sock.
Oh, you need it. You need it.
I think you want to see that. Now, Bowie with a just blood-sucking drive here against this Glenn defense. And now we have motion against the offense for Bowie. A little false start action going on.
Yeah, just a slight flinch up top by Drangy.
On 1st and 10, it'll be 1st and 15 now. And around the 23-yard line of Glenn here for Bowie. Some other games going on in 26-6A. We told you that Johnson Jaguars took care of Austin High, who have scored 12 points in 3 games this season, 34-0. Here is a keeper by Haywood. Boy, you talk about testing that leg, whatever's going on with it. He went into the teeth of the defense, unabashed. Maybe a half yard at the most on a first and 15. It's now second and 15. Other games of note, Westlake knotted at 21 on the road against Tascasita. That at halftime. Leander up 15-6 at Del Valle at Veterans. Midland Legacy, the Rebels, big time down at half, 42-7 against Lake Travis. Two receivers out left, one out right-hand side, ball in the middle of the field on second and 15. Haywood looks middle of the field, caught, and in for the score! Touchdown, there's a flag on the far sideline at the line of scrimmage. We will see if this holds up. The completion to Carson Ledford from 23 yards out will go against the Bulldogs and nullify the score. Ledford, who on the fingertips got that ball and went in for the score, will have to be now a little bit disappointed. And yet another play on this drive that will be brought back due to penalty.
And it was a beautiful play design. The play action out of the backfield. You have your tight end Ledford right up over the middle, beats the linebacker coverage, and a great catch, but gets pulled back because of the
great
penalty.
Catch. Okay, 5 on the play clock. And now Bowie they were not set. Drangy barely got to his position. You had 3 wideouts to the right-hand side, a little bit of confusion, and on a second and 20, we'll keep it here with 1:23 left in this third quarter. This is the same score we had at half, and there have been moments where you felt like both of these teams were going to take this game to a different level, and were unable to do so, whether it be a missed field goal, penalties, a missed opportunity on a block punt. Both sides have had chances, and momentum is kind of just in the middle right now. We don't know where, but that's why this particular instance is so big in this contest.
No, 100%. I mean, momentum right now is for the taking, really, and that's why these non-district games are so important, especially as you start building towards those district opponents. These moments here teach these young guys, teach both sides of the ball what we need to do in certain situations, and right now, this is when your true competitive spirit comes out. We'll see here, second and long, what Bowie can do, but I'm hoping that someone on this offense leads them to the end zone.
We'll see. It's Moreno's in it, running back, out left, out of the shotgun. He's not going to motion out to the right-hand side. Haywood lobs it left sideline, and Dranky, the intended receiver, well covered. And also, he hears an earful from Victor Bala, who has been picked on quite often in this contest, but he has, I would say, the hubris to carry that. He's fine with that.
That's the thing. I mean, when you talk about some of the guys on your team who are the most vocal, some of the would play on with the chip on their shoulder, it's usually the quarterbacks. And for Bala right now, that's how he's playing.
Watts is on Bala now, or Bala's on Watts now on a third and 20 play action. Again, another throw out down the near side sideline. Watts, the intended receiver again, and Bala says, nope, I did it again. That's the second time you tried to go my way. But these are 2 passes also that were really not even close to being able to be caught by either Drangy and now most recently Watts. In a 4th and 20, Bowie has now had 2 opportunities around the 25-yard line to get into the end zone, or at least drive even farther into the red zone, and not been able to do anything. And now we'll have to shape up for a 45-yard attempt by Drangy. He's connected from 38 and missed from 40. High snap, and now the ball bobbled and thrown out right-hand side, and all kinds of issues on special teams, which has been clean up until this very point at 1:07 in the third quarter of the season, and it couldn't come at a worse time. Bowie now in this third quarter have had 2 chances deep into Grizzly territory in a 1st and 10 moments on a block punt. Great run by their quarterback to get around the 23-yard line. 1st and 10, and have gone backwards and or did nothing with the opportunity to put points on the board, both field goal opportunities, and now still hold on to a 10-point advantage, 24-14, and the defense out on the field where Glenn has it 1st and 10 from their own 28. You might think it's uneventful because there's no scores on the board in this third quarter. Been a lot of things going on. Here's a screen attempt, and it's going to be incomplete. You had 3 down linemen for Bowie coming in, but everybody else fell back. That was a chess match opportunity in that time. Schematically, the defense for Bowie won.
Yeah, and to your point earlier, D, it just feels like a heavyweight battle right now, just going back and forth, throwing punches between these two teams. Both defenses making some great stands. Talk about bend, don't break if you're Glenn, too. I mean, just giving your offense and your team more life in this game.
Gibbs on the coverage on that attempt, on the completion. 2 back set out of the shotgun. It's going to be a delayed handoff. Ortiz has space, and now we brought down from behind by East. But not until he gets around 14 yards, past the 40 to the 42. So going to mark it officially. We're under a minute to go in the third quarter of play.
Just another great play call there. This time the quarterback reading the flow of the line, not handing it off until he finally sees a crease in the line. His running back gets it, makes a great burst through the line, gets the first.
Davis, Ortiz, Blair, all bunched to the left-hand side. That's where all the receivers are. Ball basically in the middle of the field. Ortiz comes back over. He'll get the handoff. He's deep in his own territory. The 35 gets out of one tackler. That's Cade Venable. And able to get maybe 2 on the play. And that was a lot more than anticipated based on how that play started. And East makes the stop for the Bulldogs at 2nd and 8.
Yeah, the fact that the running back got anything there is huge. I mean, he was dead in the water, 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage, and was able to get 2 out of it.
Speaking of line, your nose tackle almost made the play right out of the gate. Now we have the end of the third quarter. Glenn tried to get a playoff, but I don't think they were cognizant and understanding where the game clock was, which is another managerial issue that we've seen here from Glenn throughout the course of this contest. And on to the fourth quarter we go. We'll flip the script, and Glenn will be going right to left here shortly, and they are trailing here at home. 24-14. It is a close game here. Closer than the Bulldogs would like it to be. They're still up by 10 on the road, trying to close things out and get their second win of the season. This is Bowie Bulldog football.
Mighty Fine Burgers, Fries, and Shakes is home of the classic Texas burger. Make it just how you'd like, red, yellow, or white. Add fresh cut, crinkle cut fries. And don't forget the shake. Since the first location opened, quality has been everything. Mighty Fine's premium Texas-style burger is always made from 100% all-natural premium beef. Stop by any one of our 6 locations across Austin for your favorite burger, or to try our newest burger and shake of the month.
The home-standing Glen Grizzlies now will have it on offense, going right to left, and Mason East makes one of the biggest defensive plays of the evening, driving Carter back, who has always felt like he's had the time, and he has to this point, being able to throw the football. This time he held on too long, and he is driven back for a big-time sack at the 34-yard line.
And that's a defensive change right there, D. Really what we've seen when the scramble happens, no one comes and swarms on the quarterback right there. East sees the scramble coming out. He attacks the quarterback, makes a huge sack in the backfield, and makes it a 3rd and long.
East only a junior at 6'2", 230. That is his second and a half sack of the season. Here's Carter now. There's going to be a flag thrown at the end of this play. He throws on the far side sideline, and there's a lot of deflection on the far side sideline. It's going to be incomplete on the pass. That intended for Davis. The flag thrown at the 31-yard line, I think, is going to nullify any kind of what could have happened good for the Grizzlies, which is going to be completely wiped out. I think there's a holding call, at least at the end of this play, which should be declined by Bowie to make it 4th and 18.
Yeah, it was declined, and you can see the punting unit coming on now for the Grizzlies.
So, big stand as well for the Bowie defense. will necessitate a punt for Glenn. Katz and Drangy deep to receive. Bobbled back on a low snap. Wobbly kick is fielded by Katz. He's on his knees as he catches that ball. He wanted to return it based on the fact that he wanted to safely catch the ball. It will be down at the 34-yard line, 1st and 10 for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, first step there, securing the ball. You don't want any funny business to happen to give the Grizzlies some great field position. So right now, coming back on offense, lean on what's worked for you so far. You've moved the ball down the field well with the running game. You want to take time off the clock to stop any other opportunities for the Grizzlies. So with the Bulldogs coming back out on offense, look to the running game to end this game.
D. Hanson joined by TJ Vela. Thanks for joining us here along the Vype Live Network. Bulldog football on the road for the first time this season after 2 home games. This is the 3rd straight home game for Glenn. That's how they open things up. And a little bit of trickeration here on an end around. This is Drangy in the mix. He gets to the 40-yard line. Never easy to bring down. To the 41 he goes. Shy of the first down by about 3. A little pitch on an end around. And nice to see Drangy in the mix. He is another dynamic player in offense for Bowie. I like this wide receiver room, especially when Rowan Wells is healthy. 2nd and 3 now. About 10 and a half to go in the game. Moreno to the left of Haywood out of shotgun. Haywood with the keeper, has a huge seam, and there he goes! 35-30, brought down from behind, and they're going to mark him down, and you know what? Tempting fate a little bit. You had Haywood hurt earlier in this contest. He has seemingly gotten stronger and stronger on that leg, but you have to feel now that he might have aggravated it once again. He's going to have to come off after that last carry. He gets all the way to the 24-yard line. What a gamer. And it will be Brady Lamb back in at quarterback after the carry. Under 10 to go. Offset eye out of the shotgun. Lamb with a straight off handoff. And here's Moreno with a big time carry. Goes in for 6. A flag is thrown, however, on the far side sideline at around the 15-yard line. You almost felt like the defense gave up after they felt like there was a flag thrown.
Yeah, that was just a little too easy for Moreno there, and yep, the holding penalty called on the offense. Unfortunate for the Bulldogs because that was looking like it was going to be a great score with their starting quarterback out.
We have a couple narratives that we always cue up before games start. Another one that has manifested itself during the course of this game has been the penalties and how have they played into this game and kind of taking the air out of promising drives for both teams. It happened again.
And right there, that's just another example. 3 touchdowns here for the Bulldogs here so far this half that have been negated by penalties.
Haywood back in at quarterback after Land came back in for him, and Moreno gets the carry. And it's a 1st and 11 on a spot foul. Moreno gets back to the original line of scrimmage. It's 2nd and 10 from the 24-yard line of Glenn.
And expect now the Bulldogs to continue running the ball, moving this clock down. You can see the play clock is moving down, the game clock moving down as well. Especially in this area of the field, you have to take advantage of that.
15 on the play clock. 9 minutes to go. Watts out right-hand side in motion as Nelson from left to right. He's in the slot there. It's going to be a keeper by Haywood. Spins his way as he had nowhere to go on the original design of that carry, which was to find the edge to the left. He had nothing, and he had to double back and got caught up and loses about 2. Credit the defense here for Glenn. And you had Michael Okolo coming in there. Garrett Baker also has been a major player for this defensive front, and he also made his presence known. But I think Jordan Beans, number 99, the defensive lineman, the senior, really clogged things up there. Here's a straight up pass out left behind the receiver. We've seen it work all game long, and catching it! Oh my goodness, what? I thought that was incomplete. Drangy came back on that and made the reception. This is one of the best catches I've seen Bowie have ever.
Very similar to the Rowan Wells touchdown we've seen, but right there, you're right, D. What a catch by Drangy. Went back on the ball and brought that one in and went over the top of the defender. What a play.
I have seen a lot of games for Bowie. That is one of the best catches I have ever seen. Wow.
Goosebumps over here.
I'm telling you. What a play. 1st and 10 from the 10. Handoff Moreno. Trying to find something. Finds more than he had. Gets inside the 5 to the 4. It's 1st down and a goal to go. Whenever you're at the 10, it's the goal to go. So now it's 2nd down at the 4.
Moreno running like a
can't get over that catch.
It was an amazing catch, and it's one that now puts you in
up on it. I literally thought there was no chance.
I was wondering because it was kind of a delayed, like almost reaction, so I was kind of wondering if you hadn't seen it.
Bala on the coverage. Now, I'm
no surprise. They've been attacking it.
But he's also been very good in this game for Glenn. 2nd and 4. Keeper by Haywood! Untouched into the end zone. 4 yards out. No flags on the field. And Bowie now has their biggest lead of the game, up 30-14.
The quarterback run is something we've seen work really well, even with the hobbled leg of Haywood. Right there, only 4 yards out. It was a simple quarterback power right up the middle, and Haywood, all he had to do was follow his blockers to pay dirt. Touchdown Bulldogs, and finally getting one on the board here in the second half.
First score of the second half. Extra point pending from Drangy. He's missed a couple field goals, but he is able to kick that one through and makes it 31-14. And Bowie now finally feeling a little bit more comfortability, distancing themselves from Glenn here on the road with 7:31 left in the 4th quarter. We'll keep it here.
Yeah, right now a 17-point lead. That's obviously way better, a little bit more breathing room now for the Bowie Bulldogs and for a defense that has been doing really well here in this second half against this Grizzly offense. Now we go back out there, we can pin our ears back a little bit more and go after the quarterback because now we're going to assume the Grizzlies are going to air it out a little bit further down the field.
Second rushing score of the season for Haywood. Bowie does relinquish the fact that they had not given up any scores in the second quarter, but the third quarter's been their worst. They gave up 21 points so far in the third quarter through 2 games. They gave up 0 here with ample opportunities for Glenn to be able to get into the end zone. So call out there for the defense, able to shake off some trends. Last win on the road for this Bowie team against Del Valle back on October 4th. They won that one 34-0. Not quite to that level, but they do have the 30s on the board. And now Bowie will kick it away. Alex Moore from the 40. Near side hash will put this one up in the air. It's bobbled and now returns. Spin move, and Bala has it at the 22-yard line. Still on his feet. My goodness, what a effort to get to the 32. And then at the very end of that, you have a little bit more extracurriculars on the near side sideline, and there's a flag at midfield. And that included Moore, the sophomore kicker, having at it on the home side, near side sideline with a couple of players of Glenn.
Yeah, Moore,
now you have to siphon this out.
It looked like Moore just went after and just made a good pancake block, and it was the far side ref that made the call, so maybe he heard him say something.
Nobody likes it when the kicker makes a play.
No, they don't. These refs don't think kickers are athletes, I guess.
Okay, they did call unsportsmanlike conduct against Moore at the end of that one. So, what was the ball on the 31-yard line, 1st and 10? We brought up to the 46-yard line, the 15-yard penalty. The Grizzlies now, it's do or die. They have one timeout remaining, down 31-14.
You want to score, you want to score quick. So right now, expect them to try and take the ball deep here early.
Well, Carter and now Davis, who's in motion from left to right, have that capability. Here's Carter, Hinton behind him, and Carter has lots of real estate on the near side. He'll walk it out untouched to the 38 of the Bulldogs. So just like that, the Grizzlies get into Bowie territory, but again, time not on their side.
And right there, everyone on the left side of the field had crossroads going to the right side of the field, which left the left side of the field wide open. Carter took advantage of it, used his legs to get a good first down.
To let you know, TJ, you're on the hook for the Circle C Orthodontics Player of the Game, so start thinking on that a little bit. It's a big honor. Motion now out of the handoff to the left-hand side. A little stiff arm action at the very end of that play. Gibbs escorting Gordon out of bounds, near side, loses his helmet in the mix. .708 left in the game, and the Grizzlies going to the ground, but they're about a yard shy of the first. The clock stops. Not sure why.
He did go out of bounds.
Well, I mean, yeah, but near side they will have another reverse. Cade Venable didn't make the play, but he certainly made a difference.
Yeah, he slipped that one out.
On the run by Davis, and still Davis does get just enough for that first down. It looks as though they're going to move the chains 1 yard gained to the 28-yard line near side. Good point. Got out of bounds. Stopped the clock. Still 7:02 left. Grizzlies up against it. Gordon now shifting over behind Carter. Will go into block. Throw out to the near side. It's caught. But now Grizzlies doing a lot of dinking and dunking right now. Ortiz with the reception for about 3 yards. Well covered by Nathan Perez, who's had a really good game at linebacker.
Yeah, he's done a great job of just staying on his man and making those open field tackles. But to your point, D, they're moving down the field very slowly, matriculating down right now, and they're getting out of bounds, so they are stopping the clock.
That is one benefit. Davis near side, we'll watch him. Trips right-hand side. He's on an island. Carter looking to Davis, goes that way, and flags will fly. A lot of contact. Fabian Lemuel, not a lot of varsity experience. He's had a great start to the season. A lot of good talent there at corner. He's going up on one of the better receivers he's going to see most of the season, and got caught up a little bit.
Yeah, and right there, Lemuel, we haven't really said his name all game. Usually that's pretty good if you're a corner. That means you're locking up your guy very well. But right there in that instance, Davis just had a good read on him. He got too tangled up. It's going to be a pass interference call all day.
2 BUs on the year for Lemuel. He also has a forced fumble on the season. 1st and 10 after the penalty. Ortiz in motion, the deep backfield now, and an option keeper out near side him. That was all kinds of busted up at the end of that play. You can tell, though, the team that's ahead 31-14 seemingly has also a little bit of lack of focus here defensively at the very end of that play. Ortiz clapping. I mean, it was a loss of 2. But he's clapping in the face of Lemuel. You can tell the offenders are trying to get in the head of the defenders.
No, 100%. That's, right now you're going to use that and try to get free yards any way you can.
Pistol for Carter. Now Gordon to his right. 2 receivers out right-hand side. 1 out left. Handoff. Here is a good carry by Gordon. Inside the 15 to the 13-yard line. But a lot now more time taken off the clock. Get Glenn down 31-14, and there's a player down for the Grizzlies, which will momentarily stop it at 6:28. A huge 3rd and 6 coming up for Glenn. This is not one of those moments you might be thinking. I know the SEC passed some rules and regulations around feigning injuries to, this is not that instance at all. Whenever a player hits their helmet with both their hands, there's something going on.
Yeah, and usually it's the defense that's doing that in these kind of situations, and right now, don't think the offense would do that kind of thing. It looks like that's actually Gordon coming out.
That's
and
right.
He got hit pretty hard out there by all the defenders.
Well, you can't even put any weight on his right leg.
Not at all. He's hobbling off right now. That's a huge loss for this Grizzlies offense if he can't come back out.
We've not seen a lot of Jaden Mayberry. In fact, I don't remember seeing 21 on the field, which is the backup running back. 6'1", 185, he's not easy to bring down, but right now, the Grizzlies looking for something quick. The clock now will continue to run at 6:22 left. It'll be inside handoff. No, it's going to be a throw instead, and because of the throw and having to get rid of it, the pressure up the middle from Vincent Villarreal, Carter had to get rid of it early, but also at the very end of that, they're going to call a defensive pass interference, I believe, against Bowie.
It looks like the Grizzlies have bailed themselves out effectively by getting the pass interference called against the Bulldogs, and that's a big blow right there. You thought maybe the Bulldogs were going to force the fourth down, but now it's first and goal from the 3.
Now, Davis, the intended receiver, on a quick slant, and there was contact. So that'll bring up first down and goal to go from the 2. Shotgun for Carter. Huge play in this game and series. Grizzlies now will hand it off, and bobbing the ball, and the ball's loose. Bowie, I believe, has the ball and retain possession and have it. The biggest turnover of the game goes the way of the Bulldogs. First and 10 now at their own 8-yard line. My goodness.
Talk about bend, don't break. Right there, Bowie backs against the wall. They knew they needed to make a stop, and right there, getting the fumble, and essentially, hopefully, putting this game on ice with 6 minutes left.
Second turnover of the game forced by the Bowie Bulldogs. I want to say Lutz, number 21, got on top of that ball for the fumble recovery. And so, with that, though, 6:05 left in this fourth quarter. Fahrenhold had the interception beginning of the game, essentially. And now it will be Moreno, and I'm sure a steady diet of him, getting to the 10-yard line for about a 3-yard gain. 2nd and 7 coming up, but Bowie now, we have seen countless times in this game, both teams with multiple opportunities to get in the end zone and unable to finish the business, and I kind of hark on that for the Grizzlies. That's been their MO for the last 2 or 3 seasons. They stick in games for quite a bit of time, but they are unable to finish, and right now it's inching that way once again for them.
Yeah, you thought maybe with the new offense it was going to help them out quite a bit, but here today so far, not the case.
Here's a carry by Moreno. He sprints his way to the 30, 35, slung down and still on his feet. He's bowling his way, taking tacklers past the 45 to the 47-yard line. The best run of the game for Moreno, and my goodness, he never goes down without a fight.
He's carrying them folks out there. It doesn't matter who tries to bring him down, whether it be one guy, 2 guys, or the whole defense. He's putting them on his back and saying, hey, you want to take a ride with me? I'm going to get the first down and a lot more.
That really gets Bowie out of the back end of their side of the field. And now near midfield. Offset eye, right-hand side out of the shotgun again. Moreno breaking down this defense one by one inside the 40 to the 38-yard line on the far side sideline. 15 yards and another first.
You want to talk about imposing your will against your opponent right now. This offensive line for Bowie, this running game for Bowie is doing exactly that. They are making such a great push to start, and Moreno's doing the rest of it. Such great runs so far, and they are just running this clock down.
Are we seeing the effects of running or wearing down this defensive group we kind of talked about and touched about?
Look at them, hands on their hips. They're tired. You can tell. Bowie, they're ready to go. They're ready to just put the ball back on the ground.
Go now soon. It's 4 on the play clock. 4 minutes on the game clock. Keeper by Haywood. Leans his way near the 35-yard line, and what a gutty performance he's had. he's had 2 instances. The initial time he's had an injury, and then another big run and having to be brought out after, I'm assuming, re-aggravating that same injury with that right leg, but he comes back and still effective running the football.
And you know his team really appreciates that, from his offensive lineman to his running backs to his wide receivers. It does so much for you as an offensive lineman and for a team just to say, hey, my quarterback out here giving it his all, playing through injury, why can't I give a little bit more?
2 receivers out right-hand side, Watson the slot to the right-hand side. I don't know why I'm telling you about the receivers, because they're going to run the football here for Bowie. Moreno this time finds some room on the right side of that offensive line, deep into the 20 to the 18-yard line for a huge gain of the play and another first down for the Bulldogs, who look to put that final nail in the coffin on this game, up 31-14.
This Glenn defense right now, hands in their hips, heads down, they're looking dejected. They are getting pummeled by this running game from Bowie right now, and you're right, let's just put points on the board. Might as well put a bow on this one.
This game last year, 21-20, Glenn leading at half, had 22 unanswered scored them in the second half. Right now, Moreno trying to put an exclamation point on this carry. He does, gets popped at the very end of that, and is not feeling too great. I'm hopeful he gets up pretty quickly, and he will, but hard runners take hard hits. He gets to the 10, shy of the first by a yard, and it has been a lot of moments between these two that had an opportunity to get and take control of this game, and Bowie's turnover at that last drive for Glenn is the biggest blue star you might have in this contest. 2:03 left in the contest. Timeout taken on the field. This one by the Bulldogs. They lead 31-14 here on the road at AC Bible Junior Memorial Stadium. This is Bowie Bulldog football.
Mighty Fine Burgers, Fries, and Shakes is home of the classic Texas burger. Make it just how you'd like, red, yellow, or white. Add fresh cut, crinkle cut fries. And don't forget the shake. Since the first location opened, quality has been everything. Mighty Fine's premium Texas-style burger is always made from 100% all-natural premium beef. Stop by any one of our 6 locations across Austin for your favorite burger, or to try our newest burger and shake of the month.
Bulldogs lead 31-14 on the road, first road game of the year. A little shaky start, I would say a lot shaky start for the majority of this game, but Bowie's defense stiffening up when they need to. Only 14 on the board. It was 14 at half. Now we have 2 minutes essentially to go, 2:03 left in the game. That just shows you the level of defense we've seen, especially for the Bulldogs in the second half. Now the Bulldogs will have it with Brady Lamb at quarterback, and the handoff goes up the middle at the 5 and into the end zone for the score. Touchdown Bulldogs, and making that into the end zone was Coven Loving. His second rushing score of the season, staying upright in for the score.
Loving doing his best Moreno impression, it looked like, just going right up into the end zone, breaking all the tackles, and putting 6 on the board.
Drangy for the extra point to get Bowie up. 38-14. It is up, and Drangy remains perfect on the PATs on the season. And now the score, not necessarily reflecting exactly how this game played out, but Bowie did what they needed to do in that last drive, and it was the Moreno show all up until the score.
And I'm pretty sure Coach Branyan, Coach Abels told Moreno before that drive, like, hey, we're going to lean on you right now. this is your moment, this is your time. As a junior running back, set
and
your
an offensive
legacy.
line. Give
And
me
the offensive line. I was going to get to him. But Moreno, for everything that it's worth, did his job getting all the way down the field, breaking tackles. But that offensive line, D, making holes, pushing the bodies of the Grizzlies back, getting pancakes. It was impressive work, and I love seeing it up here.
No, there's never a moment where offensive lines give up during the course of a contest because they know, being in the trenches, much like the defensive lineman, it's a game of attrition. You're wearing people down.
Yeah.
Who can last longer? It's a marathon, not a sprint for those players.
Yeah.
And throughout this contest, Moreno and company, when it came to running the football, Hayward was able to actually get the more kind of explosive carries the majority of the game, taking maybe Glenn's defense off guard. But Glenn went toe-to-toe for a good 3 quarters until now they finally cracked on that last drive. And that it happens to be one of the most impressive drives we've seen all night.
Yeah, starting right back at around, what it was, at around the 4-yard line, and then driving all the way down the field. Super impressive drive, especially early on in this season.
Loving with the score, again, his second of the season. Julius Silva unable to go. He is the backup running back for the majority of the season, and this is a catch and field on the far side sideline around the 17-yard line, and I'm telling you, it's getting chippier and chippier as the game goes on, and special teams loves to take it to another level. The majority of those players are crazy as it is.
A lot of the times it's guys, younger guys that maybe not have gotten in the game so far.
I want to play.
So you want to, put some film out there, show the coaches, hey, look what I'm doing out here.
Blair brings it back. He gets it to the 32-yard line, 1st and 10 for the Grizzlies, and what should be the last offensive series for Glenn. They have 1 timeout remaining, and they're down 38-14. Loving capping off the drive with this running score. Figure out the exact distance on that here soon. Late sub coming in for the Grizzlies, and they now have a different quarterback in there, Gabriel Renteria, who will hand it off. Now it will be time to use up some clock and find some experience for players that don't normally make it into the game. And that's the stage that Bowie would like to see this game in. Now you still have some starters out there for Glenn, so don't get excited too much. Jaden Mayberry, mentioned him before he gets the carry. The senior running back. He has all of the stature, 6'1", 185, to go along with it. And he will get the carry once again, trying to find an edge left-hand side. He is stopped for a minimal gain on the play. Coming from Angel Moreno, the sophomore, making the stop. 3rd down and 3. Under a minute to go, under 50 seconds to go. We will now register their first road win in their last 3 games, dating back to last season. And will have to contend with the Judson Rockets next Thursday evening on the road in Converse. Handoff goes to Mayberry again, and he will be stopped for no gain on the play on a 3rd and 3, maybe even lose a yard. Makes it 4th down.
Looks like that's going to do it here, D.
That's the last play of the contest. Both teams resigned to the fact that that last drive and the carry by Loving sealed the deal. And boy, what a gutsy effort there from Glenn. And I understand that if you're on the back end of a game, that's the last thing you want to hear.
Yeah.
Gutsy effort. But I mean that with all respect. There were a good 3 quarters there. This game could have gone either way. It was 24-14 for quite a bit of time until the last 14 scored by Bowie really made it a lot easier to understand.
Yeah, 100%. It was a highly competitive contest throughout. It was really just that fourth quarter where the conditioning kind of shined through. We had talked with Coach Abels at the beginning of the game. He talked about how sometimes they can't get all the conditioning in. Well, you couldn't tell it tonight. They were out stamina. They were out conditioning Glenn tonight, especially in that fourth quarter, really just imposing the will with the run. So kudos to both teams, but glad that Bowie comes out on top.
38-14 is your final. The last time these two teams played, it was 41-21. So somewhat similar outcomes as far as Bowie finding a way to distance themselves to make it a lot more appetizing or aesthetically pleasing on the scoreboard, but it was a lot closer than that. Anybody that attended this game could have seen, wow, Glenn held in for quite a bit of time, but that is their MO once again, that they have the athletes and the capabilities and the scheming to stay in with contests with premier competition, but just cannot close things out.
Granted, though, D, it could have also been way worse. There were 3 touchdowns that were taken off the board for Bowie with penalties. So, as close as this was and how competitive it felt, it really could have looked way worse.
Yep. So great outcome for Bowie. Something they desperately needed after that disappointing game against Vista Ridge at 28-21. They were able to come out with 38 points on the board, back more in the mix of, I'm sure Ty Brandon would like to see his points per game be at. And now Bowie will line up and have the alma mater being played in front of their visiting fans on the far side sideline. We'll take a break here at post-game. We have the player of the game presented to you by Circle C Orthodontics, and TJ is going to announce that here shortly. But it will be a final score here at AC Bible Junior Memorial Stadium. Always love calling games here. 38-14, Bowie over Glenn. This is Bowie Bulldog football.
At Firehouse Subs, a portion of every purchase helps provide much-needed life-saving equipment to first responders all across the country. This year, contributions from Firehouse Subs and their suppliers will total a minimum of $1 million to support first responders via the Firehouse Subs Public Safety Foundation. Firehouse Subs Public Safety Foundation has awarded over 300 grants worth more than $4.3 million to public safety organizations all across the great state of Texas. In the greater Austin area alone, more than $343,000 has been granted to local public safety organizations, including Travis County Emergency Services, Williamson County Sheriff's Office, and ACC's Police Department. Founded by brothers and former firefighters Chris Sorensen and Robin Sorensen, Firehouse Subs is the real deal. They know firefighters crave delicious food and a lot of it, so they've made sure every sub at Firehouse Subs is piled high with freshly sliced meat and delicious cheeses. Firehouse Subs. Enjoy more subs, save more lives.
D-Nation joined once again by TJ Vela. Thanks for joining us this evening here on the Vype Live Network as we have continuing coverage all season long for the Bowie Bulldogs football squad, and they are coming out of this game against Glenn on the road. First road game of the year for Bowie with the victory 38-14, and that also now brings us to the player of the game, TJ, and that presented to you by Circle C Orthodontics. What say you? Who is the player of this contest?
You know, D, I've been thinking about it ever since you mentioned that I would be picking it there late in the fourth quarter. I did feel a little bit of pressure, with this being my first time calling a Bowie game with you. You know, as I look back to this game, I look at it from a holistic view. I think of guys like Watts, who made himself very open in the field. I think of guys like Bettis, who was a great linebacker, made great plays in the open field.
I see what you're doing.
I think of the offensive line, who made a great play all throughout the game.
Of course, you had to throw them in there.
I think of Moreno, even, who had a great drive to end the game.
None of these people are getting player of the game, though.
They're not.
They're not. Who is?
Today, the player of the game is Christian Haywood. I think from what he did from a passing perspective, from a rushing perspective, and then when you think about what he did all with on one leg, it was just such a great performance, a very gutsy performance that I think not only helped his team from a play perspective on the field, but from a mentality perspective, just him showing that he's so tough, showing his team that, hey, I'm out here for you all. I think he's obviously the player of the game here.
Moreno does have a bit of a contention there. He does have 2 touchdowns in this contest, but Haywood's passing improved.
Yeah.
Had you seen him going in from scrimmages the last 2 games, clearly the understanding was we understand that as far as passing the ball, we have opportunities there, but why don't you give our playmakers opportunities as well?
Exactly.
And that's exactly what ended up happening here. One caveat I want to make sure we highlight this a little bit too. Rowan Wells played in this game. He had multiple touches in the very beginning of the contest, and top of that, he made a miraculous touchdown catch, but also throughout that, had a massive spill in the end zone, beyond the end zone, in fact, where the track is, and might have hurt. He hurt his body in some capacity and did not come back in the game. So we're hopeful that one of the bigger weapons on offense is able to come back in, but Watts, Nelson, we mentioned multiple, Drangy had great games as well. So it's not as if that wide receiver room is lacking in any talent, so it was nice to see that come to fruition. So final thoughts here, TJ, as you look at this game.
With this being the first time I've seen Bowie play this year live, coming in with a fresh perspective, a clean slate, if you will, I'm impressed. I'm impressed with what I've seen from Bowie. They have a tough district ahead of them, but I think from what we saw today, if they can keep building on that, keep that momentum going, keep relying on those playmakers, and then hopefully get Rowan Wells back, I think this is a season where we could find ourselves in the playoffs again.
What impresses you? You said I'm impressed.
I think just from, obviously, running the ball, Christian Haywood and Moreno, having the ability to run the ball and dominate that facet of the game really opens up the passing game. And then the defense, being able to swarm to the ball, having Bettis at middle linebacker, having a guy like Venable, the nose guard, who just blasts through the offensive line. There are just so many great players on this team. I feel like that it would be a shock to me to not see them in the playoffs.
Moreno with 2 rushing scores, Haywood with a capper with their rushing score as well, untouched going in there. So Drangy had a field goal on top of that, which you have to throw that into the mix.
He had that wonderful catch too.
Loving with a touchdown run, so that caps off the scoring. Wells started the scoring of the entire game. It was 7-0 on the Wells 28-yard touchdown pass from Haywood to Wells. So that kind of caps things off here. So Bowie with the win. Now goes 2-1 on the season, 1-0 away from home. Still a non-district play. Jeff Abel's now 1 win away from 160s at 159 and 98 with the dub. And then next up, at Judson take on the Rockets on Thursday evening. Meanwhile, the Glen Grizzlies, they fall to 0-3 on the season, 0-3 here at home. And Brendan Kreskoff, the head coach for Glen, now at 15-28 in his early tenure. And he has an open date to look forward to. So that's never a bye in my estimation. I've never heard coaches talk about it that way. Whenever you say bye, you think that you're resting. That's not going to end up happening, especially when you're 0-3. So Glenn will have Eastview and the Patriots to take on next. That on the 26th of September. So that to look forward to for them. So that kind of rounds things out a little bit, and that means also that will do it for us here tonight. Next game up, the Bulldogs look to close out their non-district slate with the win. Again on the road. This time, they will venture out to Converse when Bowie challenges the Judson Rockets. The series split at 1 so far. Bowie did take the most recent meeting last year, 28-24. We'll have that game for you here along the Vype Live Network next Thursday evening. Pre-game will start at 7:15 for a 7:30 kickoff at D.W. Rutledge Stadium in Converse. Once again, the final score here from Bible. The Bowie Bulldogs 38, the Glen Grizzlies 14. From our on-site engineer and producer JC DeLeon and our broadcast partner TJ Vela, I'm Dee Hanson. For all of us here, have a great night. Oh, you don't have a closing billboard?